Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to my live today on YouTube. Today is Saturday, the 1st of March. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon UK time. At this point in time, there's no one there yet. Hopefully, some people will show up today, although I know that it's quite sunny and springy outside, so it may be a much shorter live than usual. Let's see what happens. I'm going to stay here for a couple of hours, ideally, if there are people. But again, it all depends on on where things go from here. For those who don't know me yet and are watching this on replay, I'm a therapist and coach and author, and I come live on YouTube and TikTok to give some advice to anyone who would like to ask me anything to do with mental health, therapy, mindset, mindfulness, human behavior, human psychology, relationships, any of those things, any 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 way that I could help them with my knowledge as a therapist and coach. So what I always do, I get started by reading some of the posts that I put out on YouTube, on TikTok. I put 3 short videos every day on YouTube and TikTok. They are different because there's a 3-month gap between them. And I go live twice on TikTok weekly and once on YouTube on Saturdays. And so the first post that I put out on TikTok today goes like this. When you get triggered, you are not yourself. In this moment, you have become who you believe you must be in order to survive. And so this is to highlight how we tend to judge people because we don't really understand much about human psychology. And we don't realize that when we get triggered, it's a reaction that we have to protect ourselves. So I'm just checking to make sure that, yes, I'm live, it's working. And so, yes, when people get triggered, they often get ridiculed, belittled by others. Don't be such a snowflake. Don't be so offended. Don't get triggered. Those sort of things. And we don't realize that when we get triggered, we don't choose this. It's an emotional response, and it's because there's a part of us that doesn't feel safe. And so what it implies is that I think there are so many of us who don't know that they have some sort of trauma within themselves, and when we get triggered, in that moment, we are back into that survival mode, reacting in whichever way they believe they must react in order to make it through that situation. So just a little awareness here. Maybe you can raise some empathy and compassion the next time we see people being triggered, and instead of mocking them, we could be kinder to them. Just a thought here. Next post that I put out, that I'm going to put out today on TikTok, goes like this. Men cannot be sad. Women cannot be angry. In the end, anger becomes a secondary emotion for men to cover up their repressed sadness, whilst sadness becomes a secondary emotion for women to cover up their repressed anger. And everyone suffers from not being able to express how they really feel. So this is how we can realize that the way we behave is often conditioned by what we believe we should be in society. And so this is typically what happens in a patriarchal society. It's not all men or all women. I would never generalize like that. However, in a patriarchal society, because of the very nature of a patriarchal society, men are being told that we can't be sad, we can't be vulnerable, we can't cry. Boys don't cry, you have to be strong, you have to be brave, you have to be successful, you can never ask for help. And so instead of being vulnerable or sad, anger comes to the rescue to save them from the humiliation, from the shame of being weak. And now we can never cry or be sad, instead we get angry. But conversely, is very, very similar for women. They can't be angry. Women in the patriarchal society needs to be quiet, pretty, obedient, second-rate citizen behind supporting the husband. You know that I would say behind every big man is a woman. Why do we have to be behind? Because society wants them to be behind. And so they can't be angry, they can't express themselves, they can't be loud, they can't be confident, they can't be authoritative. And as a result of that, when women are trying to get angry, instead of getting angry, sadness, tears, crying comes to the rescue to protect them from that anger. And now everyone is all over the place and no one reacts or expresses their emotions the way they should because the way society is designed. If you are watching this live, be aware, if you don't already, that you can watch that live again on replay. I leave every single live that I do on YouTube. And so finally, the last post that I put out today on TikTok, that I will put out tonight, goes like this. You are not stuck. You're experiencing the experience of being stuck. And just like with every other state, this will not last. So a lot of time I see people making comments or telling me that they're stuck. They feel that they're not moving anymore forward. They don't know what to do. And what we need to realize is that whatever that we feel in this moment is always an experience that belongs to our human experience. And so it doesn't mean that it's going to be like that forever. But it's meant to feel as if. When we're depressed, even if we've been like that all of our life, nothing ever stays forever. Everything is always changing, evolving, fluctuating. It's the nature of the universe and everything within it. And so even your problems, even pain, suffering, even joy, happiness, love, nothing lasts forever. There's always some fluctuations and some flow going on. And it's okay. It's the system of the world, and we must accept this. But through that acceptance, we can also realize that if we are facing something difficult, it's never a problem, because it will not pass either. If we feel that we're stuck, if we feel that there's no hope, if we feel helpless, it's because it is meant to feel like this. Precisely, we must experience that. So we have to feel absolutely totally helpless. But it's not going to last, because nothing lasts. Right? So there you go. Now let me see if there are any comments. There's one. Egg. Hello, Egg. What are you reading? Hello. What are you reading? I was reading the post that I have written when I create my shorts videos for TikTok and YouTube. So that's how I start my life normally. I start to read about some of the things that I've done, just have a conversation going so that people who catch me live have an idea of my vibes, of what I'm about, what I talk about, what I sound like, who am I, who I am, I mean. And so, yeah, it's just an introduction. And hopefully, at some point, I've got some people asking me anything they would like to ask me. I'm a mental health professional. And that's why I come live on YouTube and TikTok to take questions from you guys. So again, I know that today is nice and sunny. It's the beginning of spring, so there may not be as much traffic as there has been in the past, but it's okay, I'm here. And so if anyone has got any question, don't be shy. Don't just ask. It's a safe space. If there are any chores, we just get rid of them. And yes, is there anything you'd like to talk about? Egg or anyone, if there's anyone watching in the back, about mental health, therapy, human behavior, human psychology, mindset or mindfulness or spirituality. If not, I will keep on reading some stuff. Hopefully, I will get some comments from you guys. And if not, I will go in the park and enjoy some sun myself. Okay, so yesterday I put some posts that go like this. The first one: spontaneous thoughts are happenings born from subconscious mechanisms. Intentional thoughts are choices born from a place of mindfulness and reflection. Knowing the difference is the distinction between fate and free will. And so we need to realize that the majority of our thoughts are subconscious. They are what we call subconscious thoughts. They're happening out of reach of our conscious radar. And so they're just automated stuff that happen all the time, and they don't mean anything, and it's just a habit of thought that creates a habit of emotion, that creates a habit of actions and reactions which shape our life. However, not all of our thoughts are spontaneous. Some of our thoughts are intentional. And the difference is that the intentional thoughts come from us reflecting on ourselves, meditating, slowing down, looking inward. When we do this, now, for one moment, we have access to free will. And unless we do this, we don't, because we are run by an automatic program, very subconscious and emotional, that we have installed in childhood, all of us, whether we are aware of this or not. And that program creates what we believe is our fate or destiny, when in reality we can absolutely upgrade that program at any given time in our life. And this is what healing or personal growth is about. Healing and personal growth are the same thing, just seen from a different angle. It's about self-expansion. It's about self-discovery. And so when we're healing, we are discovering ourselves from a position of pain, and we want to go to a place of non-pain. And growth is when we're in a better place and realize that we can continue on that momentum and keep on bettering any aspect of us as human beings. The next post that I put out yesterday goes like this. Everything is possible doesn't mean that everything that you want is promised and guaranteed, or that it's going to be easy. It only means that it is possible. But possible is more than enough, because possible is where everything starts. So this is a message of hope. Very often when we say everything is possible, some people will react very badly to it and say, how can you say that everything is possible? You come from a place of privilege. You are so lucky. You don't realize that some people are struggling so much. It's not like that. We all struggle. And I do understand that indeed, some of us have it worse than others. However, when we say that something is possible, it doesn't mean that it's going to be promised, guaranteed, or easy. It only means that it's possible. And this in itself is what we want to change in our mindset. We want to realize that because it's possible doesn't mean that it's going to be given to us on a silver plate. We can go and get it. We can create it. We can make it for us. And finally, the last post that I put out on TikTok yesterday goes like this. There's no such thing as neediness. Only people with natural human needs that must be met. And those who are gaslighting them for expressing their needs. So again, now we're back into a place of understanding human psychology and realizing that when people are needy, they're just expressing that they never had something and that's regulated the way they think and feel and never need some help. So we need to remind ourselves that we can either be kind or at least not hurt people, not belittle them, not mock them, not go, oh, you're so needy. Because if we do this, we're as cruel and as unhelpful as some of our parents, some of our teachers, some of the people who talked to us like this when we were younger. And so, yeah. Especially for those who have certain conditions like me. If you have borderline personality disorder, you would always come across as needy, because we are terrified with being abandoned. And so we would do anything just to make sure that we are seen, accepted, loved, that we're not alone. And we will come across as needy, and people don't realize that the reason we have BPD, for instance, is because we have been traumatized, and so we suffer. We don't choose this. No one chooses to be needy. We all have needs. They're natural, they're healthy, and if we express more of this in adulthood, it's because we didn't get them in childhood, and we still don't get them in childhood and in adulthood. So, yeah. Anyway. There's a couple of questions. Let's read them. The one, London Nicole, short one is that I can see some humor. It's very funny. It's very racist. It's very racist. It's very nasty. It's very mean. It's very unkind. It's very unproductive. So I'm going to ignore you, please. The one, you remind me of a fairy ninja. It's not clever. And I'm coming here as a mental health professional to help people who have problems. So please be kind. Right? If you can't be kind, I understand. Not everyone can be kind. I used to be very nasty like you for many, many years because I was angry, I was lonely, I was depressed, I was anxious. And so I didn't have anything better than to troll others, to be mean to others, to get people's reaction. For me, getting people's reaction was my only way to feel seen, to feel that I existed. And so I did this, so I totally get it. But please don't do this, because I'm using that space to try to help people. And if you want to talk about you and your problems, I'm more than happy to do that as well. I genuinely really mean this. I understand why people do the things that we do. I never judge them. I just want to make sure that other people who need some help are not going to be having their experience ruined for some people's behavior. I don't judge you, I understand you, and I wish you all the very best, but please don't do this. Lakshya Mathur, hi Didikan, I tried your advice on mental health and stress and should tell you I feel very better. Fantastic, thank you Lakshya. Thank you, fantastic. So I'm glad that whatever that we discussed, you managed to remember and apply, that it did a difference. Fantastic, good on you. Thank you so much. Good advice. So the one is still going on titles area because I'm going to have to get rid of you, mate. I'm going to remove. Okay. Report. Hate speech. Okay. Report. Hate speech. Okay. Okay, so message retracted. I don't know if it was automatic. I don't know if I managed to block you. I don't know. But if you're there, again, I'm not hurt emotionally. It doesn't affect me. But I understand where you're coming from, but most importantly, I want to make sure that everyone is okay. So this is what we do in life as well. If we come across some narcissistic people, some people who are trying to hurt us, manipulate us, get us to react, it's easy to do something, to set boundaries, to create a space, just like that. We don't need to react to them. We don't need to suffer from them. When we suffer from people, it's because we are trying to defend and justify ourselves and convince them that they're wrong. And so we're getting trapped into their little game. This is what narcissists do. And so the best way to not get, for them to win over you is to not play the game, right? Create a space. It's very simple. And I'm applying what I preach. Okay, so Mike H, good advice. Thank you. Are you still here? Hard user on this channel. Okay. I don't know if it's going to work. Okay, so now hidden vast user. So maybe you can still see me. I don't know. I'm new to YouTube. It doesn't really matter. I'm trying to see what happens, and something will happen at the right time. Let's see. Lakshya, I have a question. Now that I am distressed, I kind of feel demotivated. Okay. So it's not that you are demotivated because you're distressed. Actually, it is a little bit. Thank you for the heart, anyone. The thing is that stress is a response that is there to keep you alert because you feel that you are in danger. And so if you don't feel that you're in danger, now you don't need to do that anymore. And maybe under that, the lack of motivation exists because over time, you have trained your mind to be ready for the bad stuff. So now that it's gone, there's nothing left for you to do. You have not developed anything else in the meantime. And so if you're not motivated, it's simply because it's blank. Think about your mind as being blank. And you can incorporate some things that you want to put in. So you can choose what you want to do, what you want to explore, what you want to discover, what you want to try, what you want to test. Go out and about and find out the things that excite you, the things that stimulate you positively, the things that makes you feel at peace, that makes you feel happy, high, that makes you feel creative. And then eventually you will create a new baseline that will be not of boredom. When you say demotivated, maybe I'm missing something. What do you mean by this? Do you have something that you need to do? Tell me about this, please, Lakshya. Demotivated for what? And we can talk about motivation and procrastination if you wish, depending on what you tell me. Lakshya, okay, thanks. I will surely implement these changes. Okay, so what I said was good enough. Great. Great. Demotivated for work. What work are you doing? Do you like your work? Do you love your work? Is it something that you have chosen? Or do you work to survive because it pays the bills, because it's a career that you have started when you liked it and now you don't like it anymore, but you're there, so you might as well continue? Which one is it? Because if you are not motivated to do something that you don't love, it's normal. We're not meant to have motivation to do things that we don't love. My answer to this is for you to find something else to do, is to organize something over time, but change your life so that you can do something that doesn't require Motivation. I wrote a post a few days ago that goes like this on Thursday. Motivation is a gaslighting concept created by society and perpetuated by people who need you to perform, even and especially if you hate what you do. We never need motivation. It's a lie. It's a gaslighting concept. It's blackmailing. People are making you feel terrible. Oh, you need motivation. It's your fault. Now, if I don't like to do something, if my body, my mind feels like this is not for me, it's totally natural and normal not to want to do that thing. But capitalist society is going to condition us. You are lazy. It's your fault. You're going to end up in hell because you are sinning or something like that. What is the name of laziness in the Bible? I forgot. I forgot. But we should never need motivation. What we can need is have a break. Sometimes we are working too much, we don't have enough rest, and so we are overwhelmed. Our brain needs to process information, and so we need a rest, we need to chill, we need to relax, we need to enjoy ourselves. But you never need motivation. Motivation is, instead of you resting, you're going to work more. And it's actually a terrible concept. This is because there's some people at the top who want you to do the things that they don't want to do. So they can tell you it's your fault, you need motivation, you're procrastinating, you're lazy, what's wrong with you? And there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah. So either you don't like what you do, change, or maybe you're just working too much, in which case, chill out and realize that when you take a break from work, you need to take a mental and emotional break as well. So it's not about just having time off of work. If you're not at work, but you're still thinking about it, if you still feel guilty, FOMO, I should be productive instead of swinging on your hammock or relaxing in a park doing nothing, then you're not resting. If you're not resting mentally and emotionally, you're not resting physically. And that's why a lot of people burn out. They don't realize, they don't understand. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. I had the weekend off and yet I'm still burnt out. Because all throughout the weekend, they still think about what they should do, about how they're going to do things when they are back on Monday, and those sort of things. And so they never rest, and they are knackered, and they did it to themselves. And so, yes, what do you think about this, Laksha? Does it make sense? I'm glad that the other racist guy is gone. Or maybe he can see us, or she can see us, but at least we don't see that person. So that's great. So remember, set boundaries. It's easy. Laksha, I do my work because at this point it's necessary since I am a beginner in corporate and fresh campus graduate. Okay, so if you know that it's only temporary, then remind yourself of this. Tell yourself, you know what? I have to grind a little bit for a short amount of time, but it's only for that amount of time. And if you do this, it's going to feel easier. If you remind yourself, it's only a bridge that I need to cross, and after that, things are going to get easier, then it's a different experience if you look at it from that perspective. Right? Remind yourself that you are choosing to do this because it's taking you somewhere else and it's not going to last forever. Think as if you were in prison and you have to count the days before you can be out. And so do what you have to do, but remind yourself that it's only temporary and that you are choosing this. And what you want to do is to create some little baby chunks. And just do the minimum, the bare minimum, because it's not what you love. It's just a mean to something else. And so, yes, is it a career that you enjoy, though? If so, then yes, this is what you want to do. Mr. Trouble, good knowledge. Thank you, Mr. Trouble. Laksha, should I try meditation and yoga to attain some clarity? So yes, always, meditation and yoga is always good. Yes. It's going to allow you to let go of some anxiety and stress from your very body. As you stretch, you're actually releasing all sort of tension from your muscles. But also, as you are doing yoga and practicing stillness, you are also impacting your mental and emotional balance. And meditation, of course, is going to do the same, but from that perspective, as opposed to stretching and holding poses. So yes, yoga and meditation are always good things for anyone to do, regardless of what they do, in any capacity. Yeah. I practice yoga, but not in a classical sense. I do some sort of stretches every time I go to the gym after I have lifted weight, and that really releases a lot of stuff in my body and makes me feel so good. Now, every single session after I've lifted heavy stuff, I spend half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes, just stretching and enjoying it. It's a relaxing, chill out moment, chill out time. But if you can do proper yoga, it's even better. It's a real art and skill. And there are so many benefits to that. Laksha, great advice. By the way, is that your parents in your background? Yes, they are. They look like a beautiful couple. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. It was them when they got married a long time ago, before I was even born. So it's my tribute to them. I did not have such a I did not have such an easy childhood, let's put it like that. But over time, I healed my own wound, and now I'm at peace. And so this is my way to remind myself that everything happens for a reason, and I've always been lucky, despite all those years in hell that I've been through, like many of us. Paddy Smith, are you Chinese? My genes are Chinese. I was born in France, Chinese French, yes, well done. I was born in France, in Paris, a long time ago. My genetic is Chinese, but my passport is French. And I've been living in the UK, in London, for 27 years now, turning 28. So I'm 54, so I'm starting to have spent more time in the UK than in France. So there's not a lot of French or Chinese left in me. Ça va, oui, ça va très bien. I'm very well indeed. Thank you. Je m'appelle Patrick. Okay, hello, Paddy. Patrick. I'm a therapist and coach. So for those who don't know me, I come live every Saturday on YouTube and twice a week on TikTok to take questions, to give some free advice to anyone who would like to ask me about mental health, therapy, and human psychology. So just ask me if there's anything you'd like to ask me. Anyone? I'm happy to chill for a little while, but if there's no question after some time, I will probably go. Paddy Smith. My mental health is a rocky. Okay, do you want to talk about this? What do you mean? What makes you say this? Christine, hi. Can you talk a little bit about avoidant personality disorder? Okay. So I'm just going to go on Google and read to you what it says. I am not very specialized in that, in those sort of terms, but again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist either. However, I have a great understanding of psychology in relationship to how I can help people as a therapist. And so, avoidant personality disorder is a long-term pattern of thinking, emotions, and behavior that can make daily life difficult and cause distress. It is characterized by a persistent pattern of social anxiety and a tendency to avoid situations that might involve criticism, rejection, or humiliation. People with AVDP may be hypersensitive to disapproval, criticism, and mocking. So what I see there is basically a different way to say something very simple. Some people have anxiety and also have a very low self-esteem, a high level of insecurity. And so I can talk about this from my perspective. I have a few conditions myself. I have ADHD, borderline personality disorder, bipolar, and CPTSD. And BPD would totally fit that bill. So again, there's a lot of overlaps. But when we have borderline personality disorder, we would actually absolutely be defined in what I have just described here. And so we find it difficult and also trauma when we find it difficult to function in society. But we have a fear of rejection, pretty much. We have fear of not fitting the bill, of not being accepted by others. And people, regardless of the label that we have, and regardless of how it's affecting us specifically, it's always born from our childhood. And so if you or someone that you know has an avoidant personality disorder, it's because you didn't get the love, the support, the approval from your parents in childhood. And so you believed that there was always a risk of you not being loved, not being seen, not being accepted. You're not good enough for them. So you still believe that of yourself Now you have created a sense of personality that believes that you are not enough. And so there's a part of you that will protect you from rejection. If you believe that rejection or failure or criticism or judgment from others is painful because it's going to evoke the pain from the past, now it's going to prevent you somehow to be too close to people, to try to protect you from the rejection. And so it's a maladaptive response because it feels terrible and it's making your life worse. But this is how it works. All the things that are causing problems in our life now as adults are originally systems that we have put in place as a child to stay safe from the world, to protect us from whatever we've been through in childhood. And now it has developed a life of its own and has escalated into all sorts of different things, such as, for instance, for some of us, certain conditions, or just avoidant personality disorder as a general label. So yes, do you want to talk about this yourself? Is it for you or someone that you know? What would you like to know about it? I come from a place of being useful. So I work best when people are asking me direct questions, as in, I have a problem, this is my problem, what can I do? And I would then suggest different perspective so that people can understand why, but also how they can deal with it. I hope that anything that I said was useful to you. Christine, was it? Mick H. How to avoid negative thinking. Okay, so negative thinking, let me get started with that. We all have thoughts in our mind all the time. And what we need to realize is that those thoughts, they are not necessarily from us, and they are not necessarily true either. They're just thoughts. If we have negative thinking, however, it's because we believe that some of the thoughts that we have, we must keep on playing them. And they tend to be negative because they're disempowering. But the reason why we have negative thinking is because there's a part of us that believes that those thoughts are useful. So we are going to entertain more of those type of thoughts, just because our subconscious mind has created an association and they believe that having negative thoughts is good. Again, it's like having avoidant personality disorder. Is that to protect us? And so, for instance, if I've been told that I am not smart, I'm an idiot when I was a child, I'm going to believe that I'm not smart enough. And I'm going to believe that if I try to do things, I'm going to fail. And I'm going to make a fool out of myself. And people are going to mock me and it's going to feel horrible. And so now, all my life, when I want to do something where I can potentially fail, but requires intelligence, my mind is going to remind you, don't do this, you're so stupid, to protect me from even trying. And so essentially all the thoughts that we have, they're just thoughts. We don't need to take them personally. We don't need to believe them. We don't need to take notice even of them. They're happening everywhere. We hear them, we feel them, they go through us, from us, they come to us. And we need to realize that we can choose which thought we want to entertain in our mind. But the reason why we hold on certain thoughts more than others is because we believe that those thoughts are useful somehow. We can try something. If I often do that. If I say watermelon, so maybe some of you have seen a watermelon in your mind for one split second. Did you see the picture of a watermelon, or can you see it now? See watermelon. Right, now you can see it. It's very easy. It's spontaneous, straight away. And so what I've done, I've put a thought into your mind. I did it. You didn't. You didn't think, okay, today at 3:30 on YouTube, someone, I'm going to, no, you didn't think, today at 3:30, I'm going to think about a watermelon. Just a stranger on YouTube did it, me. And so thoughts are just thoughts. It doesn't mean anything. And when we have intrusive thoughts, it's the same as having negative thought, but it's the next level. We have thoughts that we don't want, but they keep coming. And we do this because there's a part of us that believes that having those thoughts is a good thing. It's protecting us. And so what you want to do is to realize that you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're not your personality. You are the experiencer of the thoughts. You are the experiencer of the emotions and the feelings and the sensations. You are the experiencer of the behavior, of the personality that you believe that you are as a human being. And if you can do that, if you can create a space between you and your own thoughts, and realize, here's a thought. It's a silly thought. Is it me? Why am I thinking that? Just get rid of it. You know what? I'm going to choose another thought. And now, just like that, you're in a better place because you have a better thought in your mind. But if you think, oh, I'm thinking this, I'm a bad person, or what's wrong with me? What is broken in my head? Now you're going to hold on to that thought, and there's going to be more of this. And so, well, the next thing to realize is that you can't get rid of a thought. What you can do is to choose a better thought instead. Because your brain is a machine that translates every single one of your thoughts into a picture instantly. And so what it means is that it doesn't know the word no. It cannot process a negative. If you say, I don't want to think about this, I don't want to think about this, I don't want to think about this, your brain is going to give you this, right? If you think, for instance, I don't want to eat cake. I don't want to eat that cake. It's forbidden. It's bad. I'm not going to eat that cake. Your brain is just going to go cake, 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 cake. And there's part of you is that it's going to start to salivate and make it harder for you not to have the cake. And so what you want to do is to choose a better thought instead. Instead of thinking, I don't want the cake, think, I am choosing to go for a walk. I'm choosing to prepare a salad. I'm choosing to, whatever, that's what you want to do. Now you're replacing a negative pattern of thought with a better new one. It's going to take repetition to reinforce a new habit of thought, because everything is a matter of repetition and habit, even of thoughts and our emotions and our behavior. And so how do you get rid of negative thoughts? You don't get rid of them. You replace them with some new, better thought, realizing that none of your thoughts are real. None of your thoughts are even new. Your thoughts, they don't come from you. Your thoughts are just automated. I was reading about my TikTok post at the start of this live, and it goes like this. Spontaneous thoughts are happenings born from subconscious mechanisms. Intentional thoughts are choices born from a place of mindfulness and reflection. And knowing the difference is the distinction between fate and free will. And so spontaneous thoughts are the habits of thoughts that comes automatically because of X, Y, Z. But intentional thoughts is when we are slowing down, looking inward, reflecting, and now we can have access to free will and change some of the things that we do. You can choose your thoughts. You don't have to accept them. You don't have to believe them. Most of your thoughts anyway don't even belong to you, because your thoughts are born from the belief that you have absorbed and inherited from your parents, from your upbringing, from your environment, from your community, from everything that you have experienced up to this point in your life. And so when you realize this, you don't take your thoughts so seriously. And there's something that you can do. It's called cognitive diffusion. I think people call it metacognition now or something like that. And essentially what you do, you realize that you are not your thoughts. You tell yourself, I'm noticing that I'm thinking that da-da-da-da-da-da. Or I'm noticing that I'm thinking that thought. So you are not the thinker. You are the watcher of the thought. You are the observer of the thought. And it goes the same with your emotions and your feelings as well. It's not just the thought. It's all very all intertwined. And so, yes. Does it work? Does it help? What do you think about this? Mick H. Michael said, I saw a lot of little heart. Thank you for this. So I think maybe you or other people are happy with that. It's good. Michael St. John. Take a break from social media. 3 months. Find a new hobby. Fish tanks. Who are you talking to? I don't understand. Are you asking me, telling someone else? Are you I don't understand. Take a break from social media, 3 months, find a new hobby, fish tanks. Are you talking about you? You want to take a break from social media and have a fish tank instead? Okay, whatever works for you. Sounds like a good idea. Although I don't really like it personally because I feel it's cruel to have fishes in a tank. But that's me. Mick H, I will choose another food. Fantastic. Thank you, Mick. Richie, hi Didi. Can you talk about shame, guilt, and self-loathing after getting sober? I am in recovery myself and I'm struggling to deal with these feelings. Thanks. Okay, very good questions. So, for those who don't know me, I used to be addicted myself. I was addicted to class A drugs and alcohol and rage, anger, overthinking, pettiness, a lot of things for 38 years of my life. And now I'm teetotal, happy, fulfilled, at peace and all. But I've been there on the battlefield, so I can really understand how you're going through. And so, based on that, let's talk about this. Let me read this again to make sure that I get it right. Shame, guilt, and self-loathing after getting sober. Okay. So if you have been drinking for a while and you don't drink anymore, now you have a realization of all the things that you've done. And because we have a lot of belief about ourselves, we believe that I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I've hurt so many people in my life, I've ruined so many good opportunities. What's wrong with me? And so, how do you deal with shame and guilt and self-loathing? You want to understand why you ended up like that. You want to understand that no one chooses to be addicted. No one chooses to suffer from any condition. When you get addicted to alcohol or drugs or anything else, but especially drugs and alcohol, you do this because you suffer. You have a high level of trauma, anxiety, depression, overwhelm that is constant. There's always a feeling that is horrible, disgusting, and I had it all my life. And to us, addiction is a solution. It doesn't mean that we're weak. It means that we're fighting. I want to survive. If it wasn't for my addictions, again, very important, I am not glorifying addiction, but I'm not just trying to show this from a different perspective for you specifically, for those who are going through that. If it wasn't for my addiction, I wouldn't have made it. I would have unalived myself. I tried many times, as a matter of fact, but I would have managed to complete that. And so, even though it sucks, at least it bought me some time. It made me, it made it possible for me to stay alive despite all my pain and my suffering, and to give myself a respite another day and see if the other day could bring me something else to help me with my conditions. And so you never choose to drink or take drugs because you're a bad person, because you're weak, because you're a poor character, or any of those bullshit. You do this because you suffer. No one chooses the trauma, the pain. Maybe you are neurodivergent. Maybe, most probably, you have been traumatized in childhood. Possibly, very potentially, repetitively. Maybe you have CPTSD. Maybe you grew up in a place where love was not available, where there was a lot of abuse or a lot of neglect. Or maybe you've witnessed a lot of horrible things or things that happened to you. It can be anything at all. But because of those things, you needed something, a system to have a solace from all that burden. You just being in your body in that reality was not good. And so I, for instance, I don't know about you, but I have been either high or drunk or hungover non-stop for 38 years of my life. As soon as I could, I would go back into the state because I didn't want to face reality, because reality was too painful. Any aspect of it was a torture to me each moment. And so if you understand this, you understand that you're a victim. It's not your fault. Shame, guilt is, I hate the fact that I've done this or I didn't do that. Shame is, I'm bad. I am a bad person intrinsically. And self-loathing is born from those two things. And so you want to realize that self-loathing is born from lies. Shame and guilt are illusions. They don't exist. Society, however, teaches us that we should have guilt and shame, and it's not true. This creates all the mental and emotional problems in this world. Shame and guilt. And it's all born from religious dogmas. Whether you're religious or not, the whole structure of society is based on that. Sins, blaming, judgment, punishment, guilt and shame. And if you can really accept that guilt and shame are illusions, they don't exist, it's not real. You don't need to accept that to believe this anymore. You can understand. See yourself as a child. So it's Richard. See yourself as a little boy. And remember the things that happened to you, the things you've been through, how you felt. And remember that the only way for you to function, not to top yourself, was to somehow disconnect from that reality. And so you're not weak, you're a fighter. You've been actively doing your best to stay alive all those years. So change the narrative that you have about yourself. And eventually, if you can find a way to understand the whole bigger picture of yourself as to how you ended up being addicted, then you can find compassion for yourself. You can find forgiveness for everything that you've done or that you didn't do. And you can also remind yourself that you are in here in the journey of life to experience yourself. And so your story is ongoing. is not finished. You need to go through those things to overcome those things, to grow a better human being out of those experiences. Right? And so yes, does it help at all? Does it make any sense? Do you want to ask me more about this, Richie? I can talk about it forever. Do ask me, please, if you feel like it. ICS, what is RTT therapist? Okay, RTT is what I do. Is the system that I use with my clients in my practice. It stands for Rapid Transformational Therapy. It was created by Marisa Peer, and it's like hypnotherapy on steroid. It's a blend of hypnosis, regression, and belief reframing at a subconscious and emotional level. So what we do, I hypnotize the clients, and we go back into the memories of the past, where they created those beliefs, those subconscious triggers that are creating all the problems in their life now. And so we need to realize that everything that we suffer from, anxiety, depression, addiction, self-sabotage, anger issues, all of those things, are all there because we put those things into place to protect ourselves. And so we go back there, and I change the emotional intensity of those memories so that the memories will always stay anyway, because we are everything that happened to us. However, they will not feel the same. And this is what we do. As we address the relationship we have with episode of the past, we also change our perception of ourselves. There's no past. There's not a place called the past where I can go back. And so it is how I see the past and myself in that past that's going to affect my behavior now as an adult, as a grown-up, today, every day of my life. But if we can change that, now we're changing something about ourselves. And the next step is to, once we've done that, we can teach the person, I teach my clients, to operate from that mind instead of that mind. This is the emotional mind, the child's mind, the inner child. This is the adult mind, the grown-up, the rational mind. And we can, from here, tell the emotional mind, from the head, we can tell the heart, it's okay, I get you. I'm here now. You don't need to be scared anymore because I am in charge now. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to make it right. I'm going to find a solution to that problem. And so whatever that we believe that may happen again and hurt us again in adulthood, now we don't need to have that to protect us anymore. We can use this. And so, yeah, it's a whole process. I can talk about it again in great length. But if you want me to explain to you how RTT works specifically for cognition, ask me, and I can explain to you how I would do, or how I have done already with similar cases. Okay? But essentially, we change how we feel about ourselves based on the belief that we have about ourselves. Every single problem in your life is born from a belief originally that has gone out of control and developed in its own way into the problems that you have now. So, there you go. I hope it makes sense. Does it? John, 7th lacked 10 watchings, started streamings 39 minutes ago. I'm already subscribed. Thank you so much. Thank you, John. It's how I found you now. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. You are helpful. I'm so glad. I will come every Saturday on YouTube, so you can always come back, all of you guys. And I do that. I've been doing this for a couple of years on TikTok, and I have a lot of regulars and a lot of people very kindly telling me how I have helped them greatly. So I'm more than happy to do this. This is really something that I do because I can. It's me giving back some karma into the universe because I found peace and happiness myself. And so yes, please keep coming back. And also, there's my content. Maybe you can find some stuff that may help you also through my content daily. And also, at some point, I will do some long form videos again. The old ones are cringy, but on YouTube, I do plan at some point to do some more long one videos. And so you can ask me if you want some topics that you'd like me to discuss on these videos. Christine, I'm so glad you are better today. Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you. It's a journey. We all go through all sort of things. And again, as a therapist, I'm realizing that there are so many of us who suffer, and it's so sad, it's so disheartening, so heartbreaking to see the human condition, and to see how little it takes for so many of us to go through so much pain and suffering for so many years. The beauty of it, however, is that it's absolutely highly possible for the vast majority of us to change. No matter what we've been through, no matter how long it's been, no matter what we think of ourselves and what we think of our life and this world. So yes, hope, hope, compassion, and empathy are my messages. Christine, true. Thank you, Christine. Something that I said you agree with. Richie B, thanks, Didi. I identify so much with what you are saying. I definitely have some trauma issues, but I'm starting therapy this week. Okay, good on you. Good on you. I'm nervous about it, but kind of looking forward to it. Okay, it's normal that you're nervous because you're going to finally challenge the status quo. And so there's a part of you that may be actually resisting it. There's a part of you that may want to self-sabotage the process of you healing. So be aware that it's all very common. There's nothing wrong about it, it's normal. There'll be some resistance, essentially. And the nervousness could be that. So what you can do is to replace nervousness with excitement. Because whether we are nervous or apprehensive or scared, whatever the body does to express those notions are the same as when you are excited. Your heart will start to race, you start to sweat, you have to tremble, you have tunnel vision, dry mouth, the pupils are going to dilate, you get to be tense. All of those things you feel when you are nervous. And you also feel the same when you're excited. So change the meaning in your mind. Tell yourself, I'm going to change. It's exciting. I want to do this. I'm finally ready. It's time for me to heal. And I'm so looking forward to that journey. And I know that it's a journey. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to take it one baby step at a time and explore myself, my past, my subconscious mind, and my potential. Good on you, Richie. Christine, I have APD and yes, been isolating the last 5 years. APD, is it antisocial personality disorder? Let me double check. APD. There's auditory processing disorder. Do you have auditory processing disorder? Is that what you mean? I've been isolating the last 5 years. I know everything I should do, just how to take the first step. Okay, so do you want to talk about this? Do you want to tell me about what are the hardest steps for you to take? We can maybe find some ways to bypass the resistance, if you want. And please confirm that APD means auditory processing disorder. There's a lot of acronyms out there, so it's important to make sure that we have the right one. Sometimes people misspell, or maybe the autocorrector does it for us, and we end up putting something else. So that's why I'm double checking. John, that is so good. That is good. Thank you, John. Pale Poet, just found out recently, and I so appreciate your videos. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Thank you, Pale Post. It's a pleasure. Do ask me anything. Melody, I am constantly working on my mindset. Approaching 57 years, I've worked consistently on emotional regulation and meditation. Exercise helps. Mental health is everything. Okay, good on you. Good on you, Melody. It sounds like a great plan. So you are aware that you can expand your human experience. And you're doing this. Fantastic. Good on you. If you have any questions, just ask. Christine, no avoidant personality disorder. Sorry. That's why I double checked. Okay, you have avoidant personality disorder. Okay, so do you believe that you may have some trauma, some unhealed wound from the past? Have you looked at it from that perspective? There's so many things that can be said. Everyone is different. If you can tell me more about yourself, we can get somewhere, maybe, during that very live stream. I pride myself at doing my best to give some actionable answers. One thing that you can start to do when you have an avoidant personality disorder is to change the way you think about things. And so this is a simple way to look at our mind and healing and growth in general. All we have to do, really, for all of us, regardless of what we want to achieve in our life, is to find a way to look at things from a different perspective. That's it. It's that simple. Now it's not easy, but we want to expand our perspective so that we can see the same thing from an angle that is a little bit kinder and easier for us. And so change the meaning of things, change the interpretation of things, change the narrative of whatever that you are going through. That's it. And so if you can give me an example of a typical pattern of behavior that is from your avoidant personality disorder that is causing a lot of problems in your life every day. If you can give me that, we can address this right now together specifically. If not, I understand, and it's no problem at all. And you can always come back to me if ever and whenever you're ready for this. Christine, thank you so much. Yes, a lot of trauma, okay? It's just hard to believe I am good enough. It's like I can't accept myself. So give me an example. When do you often think that you're not good enough? Which situation, which context, which circumstances, whose people evoke that sort of thoughts within you? And we can get started on that. We need to have some more specificity. It's like you have a mountain of problems, and what we want to do is to find the entry point. And as long as we're looking at the mountain of problems, it's going to feel overwhelming. It's just too much. I can't deal with all of that. I don't know where to even get started. But if you can find the entry point, the little secret door, right? Or it's like, yeah, this is it. It's literally that. Find the entry point so that you can get started. And then apply one baby step at a time, something. And eventually over time, that movement will gain some momentum and things will accelerate and you will start to change furthermore. But it starts with a baby step. John, do you like watching movies that have ... So we can find out what movies you have in mind, John. Christine, just writing here is really hard. Okay, I get it. It takes time to trust people as well when you've been traumatized. Take your time. Stay with us, stay with me. And, do your best as you do already. And eventually over time, as you get to know me better, you will start to trust me better. And it will be easier for you to express yourself. It's a safe space. Again, if there are any trolls, we get rid of them. There was one at the start of the life who started to insert me with a lot of racist remarks. And I had to find a way, and I found a way to get rid of him, right? Or her, I don't know. Get rid of that troll. And it was just that easy. And I do that whenever it's needed. And so you are in a safe space. I want to make sure I do this. On TikTok, I have created a community. And I aim at doing the same on YouTube now. When people know that they can come here, bring their friends, and talk about personal stuff in all safety. Take your time. It's normal to be like that when we've been through a lot. Melody, do you believe we are in a collective trauma as a result of the pandemic? I feel that everybody is still so detached from each, don't seem to want to make connections. I'm going to say yes. So basically, it's not just that. I believe that we all have some sort of trauma and some conditions to deal with. I believe that we are all on the spectrum of something. I don't believe that there's a single person that is absolutely 100% mentally and emotionally healthy. Or there are always exceptions, but they are extremely rare. I believe that for the vast majority of us, we all have some baggage, some blocks, some things to deal with, because society is designed in such a way that for the vast majority of us, our childhood would suffer from the design of capitalism. Right? Our parents need to work, they're stressed out because of money, they fight, they drink, they're under pressure, they work a lot, they're not here to look after us. And because of all of those reasons, we suffer all sorts of different types of trauma. Neglect is a type of trauma. Witnessing parents being depressed or overwhelmed also can absolutely affect us just as well. And so already the system, the capitalist system in itself, is designed to create mental and emotional imbalances. Now, on the top of that, the pandemic has put the world on hold for a while. And it's true that for many of us, including myself, it was actually surprising and challenging to get back on my feet after that, because everything was different. So the way I experienced it was actually good, because I had a lot of revelation through that period. But still, it's true that we are so used to do something that when something huge like that happens, it challenges everything that we're used to do and feel and think. And so, in that sense, I do believe that many of us are still trying to recover from the pandemic, indeed. However, it's not just the pandemic. I believe that there are millions of ways to be traumatized in this world, in this life, in this society. But yes, the collective one, I wouldn't say that it affects everyone. I believe that many people are going through that, but many people also have absolutely resumed their life and they moved away from that, and it's a long distant memory for them. So it depends. We're all different. But if you feel like that, what I'm trying to say is that you're not alone. There are many people who are still trying to find a way to resume their life since the pandemic. I get this, yes. But whatever happens, we want to really understand that the only one thing that we can do is to focus on ourselves. No matter what is happening around us, no matter what our environment is like, is only there. We can do something inside of us. If we keep on looking at the outside and we think it's dark, it's grey, it's horrible, it's doom and gloom, there's nothing I can do about it, then we are defeated and we're not going to change anything. But if we can realize that it doesn't matter what is going on outside, I am not defined by my environment. I define it. Then we are reclaiming our power. We can do some things from our inner world that will absolutely elevate our energy, our frequency, our mindset, and help us create a better environment for us as a byproduct of us having upgraded how we feel inside first. John, the Oscars are soon more. The Oscars, I think you mean, are soon. Some movies are real good. What would you recommend? I don't know. I don't really watch much movies. I don't watch the Oscars anymore. I don't believe in Hollywood anymore. I have understood for the last year that Hollywood was a huge propaganda machine. So because of that, I feel that I've been lied to all my life by the media, by the social media, by Hollywood, by the government, by everyone at the top. And so because of that, I don't really feel much interest in that. But also times are changing, and now there are different ways to entertain your mind that doesn't require for us to go back to those old stuff. And so if you like this, it's good enough, I understand. But for me, there's so much corruption that I find it difficult to appreciate a lot of things coming up from those parts of the world. It's just Hollywood. So I wouldn't be watching the Oscars myself, so I wouldn't know. But if you enjoy it, enjoy it. It's all good. We're all different. It's okay. John, do you read fiction? I don't have much time for that either. I do read a lot. I do read audiobook because I have ADHD. It's easier for me to listen to books rather than reading. But I don't do fictions. It's mostly, very few. I haven't read fiction in a long, long, long time. It's mostly books to do with the mind, psychology, stuff like that, right? So I read a lot, and I always expand my mind every day, all the time, and I love that, but not necessarily fictions, I'm afraid. I do my best to spend at least one day a week, once a week, or maybe twice if we are lucky, to watch a movie with my husband. So we watch television, we can watch anything, or some movies, just to keep doing something normal together. So we do this consciously. We plan this. But he's got his own world. I've got my own, and we're both neurodivergent. So we have our both specific strong interest, and we are both obsessing over stuff, and it functions very well. We've been together for nearly 20 years now, and so yes. But other than that, yeah, movies, not really. I love music. I listen to a lot of music. I love the gym. I love nature, walking in the park. I love meditating, chilling with my dog, with our dog. And that's it. But I wouldn't be able to recommend much movies, I'm afraid. Felix, what's up? What's up? I take questions to do with mental health and therapy and psychology. If you have anything you'd like to ask me about. John, how much time a day do you spend in front of a computer that is acceptable? It depends. So it's true that many of us, we spend too much time. We should be going outside. We should be moving. If we can go to the gym, I love the gym, for instance, so that helps a lot. But also walking in nature if you have a park nearby. So it depends. But generally speaking, we want to have a holistic approach about our lifestyle. We are a mind and a body and a spirit. We are many things. So we need to look after all of those aspects of us. We need to move, we need to socialize, we need to connect with nature, we need to rest, slow down, enjoy ourselves, be happy, do things that makes us happy. And we need to work. But do you feel that maybe you are spending too much time in front of the computer because you have an addiction of it, as in you can't get your head out of it? So there's an instance of that happening. The way it's designed, it's it can be a problem for some of us. It's never because of the thing. It's because of our propensity to be addicted to that thing. So whether it's computer or any other type of addiction, the problem is never the thing that we're addicted to. The problem is always, why do we have a propensity for it? And so, yeah. So it depends. I think it's okay to spend quite a lot of time if your work involves computers, but make sure that you have breaks. Make sure that you plan and that you organize and that you apply some daily breaks. And that when you are no longer working, you do some things that don't involve computer. Not all of it. It's hard because everything is connected to that. But you can find ways to mix and match your daily routine so that you're not constantly in front of a screen. Walking is very powerful and useful and accessible for most of us. Sorry about that. The coffee is very thick. For some reason, it's making me... Okay. Shuab Hassan. There's no God, but Allah and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and Jesus was the messenger of Allah, and Moses was the messenger of Allah. Okay. Okay, well, I'm happy that you are sharing all this information with us. I wish you all the best. John, does it matter if China goes to the dark side of the moon? I don't understand. You're saying that China is planning to go to... I don't know. I didn't even know. To me, it doesn't matter. None of those things matter. People do their things. Everything that happens, we can decide whether it's important for us or not. And so there's no right or wrong. So people may say, I need to know what is going on in the world of politics in that part of the world all the time. Some people don't. Some people may think, I need to know what is going on in that industry all the time. Some people don't. So it's you find, you create your own reality by choosing what sort of things you're going to entertain your mind with. And so if for you, you have interest in politics to do with China or with technology, then it's great, But for me, it's not very important. Whether things impact us or not, they're going to happen anyway. But whether we're going to choose to think about those things intensely, it's our choice. And so to me, again, just like with Hollywood, I don't really mind about China going to the dark side of the moon. And just like with Shuab, I don't really mind about Jesus and Moses and Allah and all of those people. I know there are some people, a lot of people really, really love to talk about those things. And I respect that, but it's their thing, it's not me. We're all different. Mishita, that's me. Okay, something that I said you can relate to. Shara Ostatus, how can I forget her? How can you forget her? By stop thinking about her. How can you stop thinking about her? By thinking about something else. Right? And so the more you are allowing yourself not to do anything specific, the more your mind will remind you of that memory of her. But if you can choose, you know what, that's enough, it's time for me to move on. Now you can focus on filling up your mind with different thoughts. Maybe I've got that project, I want to create that. I wanted to do this for a long time. Invest yourself, or go back into the dating scene and see what's there, right? But what you want to do is to choose a better thought. We can't get rid of a thought. But you need to actively, you need to realize that if you don't choose to fill up your mind with a specific empowering and better thought, the old ones will come back. And if you've been hurt emotionally by that person, then the emotional charge attached to that thought will make sure that the thought keeps coming back. If you think about something, it's because there's an emotional charge attached to it. And so how do you deal with that? You focus on a different thought. What do I want to do? What am I studying? What am I researching? What am I exploring? What am I working on? What is my passion? Or do something creative, do something exciting. Focus your mind on starting something new or completing what you've started already. Your mind cannot do two things at the same time thoroughly. We cannot multitask. If you want to do something properly, you will need to focus the whole of your mind. But if you don't focus fully on something, there's a part of your mind that will still invite that thought. I'm heartbroken, she hurt my feelings, I miss her, all those sort of things. But if you are fully focused on something, in that moment, there's no space left in your mind to think about her. And as you do this over a long period of time, eventually the emotional charge and the thought of her will diminish. Right? The less you feed a thought, the more it goes away eventually. The more you keep on bringing it back, the more you reinforce it in the forefront of your head. I hope it makes sense. Does it? Sherry? John, I like you smiling. It brings good vibes. Okay, thank you very much. There you go. It's very kind of you. Thank you, John. John, is there a danger space junk will not allow man to leave Earth? I don't know about those things, John. Those conversations are quite specific. I do enjoy technology, I have to say, but I don't know about this. Let me see. Is there a danger that space junk not allow man to leave Earth? I don't know. I don't really mind about those things because a lot of people think about leaving Earth as a survival mean. The truth of the matter is that we think about us as a species and what we should be doing to survive as a species. I'm not concerned by that. I believe that some people will do the right thing in regards to the species, but it's not for me to do this. I'm concerned about my life right here, right now. And this is what we should be doing. We come into this life to experience our life. So if your life involves doing some technology or politics in regards to the human race, then it's part of it, it's good. But other than that, we don't really need to worry about things that are so far away or that we have no reach. We have no business thinking about. Some others, people are going to create false realities for us that we're going to experience at some point. But for me, I'm not so concerned by that. My husband is obsessed with aliens and ghosts and spirits and paranormal, supernatural, and spaceships going back to the mothership. And I get it, you know, he's autistic, so that's his special interest. But I'm open-minded to those things, but it's not my jam. I'm more concerned about the human condition, about psychology. Why do people do the things we do, and how can we teach people to understand the mind so that we can change the world? I believe that we can change the world from the inside out, not from the outside in. Some people will do this anyway, and I love this. But I believe that it's more important at this point in time, and always anyway, to focus on how we feel, how we think, what we believe, rather than creating rockets that go to space. But again, it's not a dichotomy. It can happen together, and some people are doing this, and it's great. But I believe that my work, my strength, my mission is to spread some understanding of how the mind works here and there, so that we can heal ourselves. And as we heal ourselves, we can start to heal the world because we are a part of it. So if you want to heal the world, the first thing we want to do is to heal ourselves. Grace and mercy. Okay, light work. Some finger. Oh, I can't see. Let me see. Ah, yes. So it's this one. Light work. What's your channel about? It's about therapy, mindset, mindfulness, human behavior, psychology, relationships, understanding the mind, changing our behavior, our habits of thoughts and emotions, learning how to process and read environment and situations in a different way, spirituality, and all of those things. I'm here to help and empower people in whichever way that I can through my humble little live streams on YouTube and on TikTok. Lat work, you look stronger, bro. Okay, thank you. Yes, I do train. I used to be a strength and conditioning coach before I became a therapist, and so I enjoy lifting heavy stuff. I'm glad that you said that. I don't see this anymore. I just see me and my big head. But thank you for the compliment. I like it. My ego thanks you. John, sound advice. Thank you, John. That work. Sherry, you paying attention? John, do you buy water in plastic bottle? Is there a danger? So you seem to have a lot of danger themes going on. So everything can be dangerous, but at the same time, you don't need to think about everything being dangerous either. It's a mindset. Do you believe that you have a lot of anxiety? You may be stressed out. You believe that you always need to optimize things. Do you obsess over certain things? We live our life and we need to find a way to optimize what is important to us. So technically everything is dangerous. Life is dangerous because life ends up with the end of it. It's very dangerous, right? But you don't need to worry about those things. If it's important for you, if you have some conditions, if it's something that really, really excites your mind, you can study, you can explore, you can learn about the effect on plastic in the plastic water bottle in your body. When we drink water from plastic bottles, indeed, we end up with plastic in our body. A lot of researchers have demonstrated that when people sweat, the plastic comes out from the pores of our skin, and so it does affect our physiology. However, we have water. We're not living in the deserts. We don't live in some places of the world where we don't have fresh water, and so everything is relative. Right? It depends on what your priority in life is. I'd say learn about how to have a healthy body and mind and lifestyle, generally speaking, and address all of those things. And eventually you will add some more element and you can be more thorough and precise if it's really important to you. But also realize that we don't need to control everything. Sometimes you can surrender and accept that the body is a fantastic machine and the universe is looking after us. So unless we are injecting drugs in our system, we should be okay, provided we keep on being open-minded and learn about health at a general level. So you want to sleep well, you want to eat well, with your gut microbiome health in mind, you want to move around, exercise, you want to keep stress at bay, you want to socialize, and all those things. And if you can apply all those things, you should be all right, right? What I'm trying to say is don't overthink, don't pay attention to the reasons as to why you may be overthinking about some issues that are not so important. Maybe do you believe that you have some struggle with anxiety, or stress, or overthinking? Because if that's the case, the problem is not the water in the plastic bottle or the Chinese people going to the dark side of the moon. Maybe it's the anxiety. Maybe it's the reason as to why you keep on thinking those things. And we can talk about this if you want. It will be much kind of the sort of things that I would talk about on this channel. Sherry, is this live? Yes, it is live, but I'm always a little bit behind when there's some comment. I want to make sure that I'm very thorough. And so it is 18 minutes past 4 in the afternoon in the UK. So I will come to your comment if you have put something. M, thanks for your service. Thank you, M. That work. Yes, Sherry. Sherry. Okay, thanks. Akhtar Zaman, what is your age? How old are you? I'm 54. I was born in 1970. Melody, be kind to your mind. Yes, it's a very good advice. I always say that. But even better than that, don't be kind to your mind. Be kind to yourself. Your mind is just an aspect of you, right? And so be kind to your whole self, who you are as a person. And as you are kind to yourself, you appreciate some aspect of your mind, some aspect of your body, some aspect of your soul or spirit or whatever you call it. Some aspect of who you are in society. John, wonderful hitting one and all. Thank you, John. Akhtar, I am currently encountering a problem. I cannot study. I used to study more than 12 hours a day, but now I'm scared of books. Help me, please. You're scared of books. I don't understand this. Could you expand on that, please? What happened? What changed? What was noticeable for you to be scared of books? How can we be scared of books? Are you literally scared of books? It's quite specific. Or are you scared of failure? Are you scared of not succeeding? Are you scared of letting down some people that you look up to, that you want to impress with your success? John, what professional sport do you like to attend? I don't really. I'm terribly boring. I'm very focused on the things that I do, and everything else don't matter to me. I love mind stuff and psychology stuff. I love nature. I love music. I love animals and dogs and food, and that's pretty much it. I love art, architecture, and paintings and stuff like that. Also literature, but literature to do with the self-development. But that's pretty much it. Sport. Sometimes I may enjoy some sport events, very, very rarely. Again, I don't watch a lot of television. I may enjoy some UFC stuff, like combat sports stuff. I can enjoy a little bit every now and then. But other than that, I don't understand football. I don't understand cricket, golf, cycling. Or none of those things make sense to me. Rugby. I don't get these things. When we watch sport, this is the thing. People like sport because they can project themselves. So if it's two people playing tennis, for instance, at the subconscious level, it's just like when we watch a movie. We are projecting ourselves into that person that we like, and whether they win or lose or whatever happens to them, we can feel that. And this is what makes the connection between us and that experience that we are witnessing. Because I understand this, I don't do this, right? If I watch movies and I see that a lot of things are happening to that character, I don't want to be into that state. So I'm reminding myself, yeah, it's just a movie. And I detach myself from it. And with sport, it's the same thing. When people are into, let's say, football, they do this because they are relating to a club. I belong to that. It's us. It's my tribe, my people. And subconsciously, this is what is happening when people really enjoy the sport. They are projecting themselves in the player or the group of players because they can experience this by, I don't know if it's English, by procuration. I don't know if it's the translation. By proxy. They can experience this by proxy. And so just a psychological explanation as to why people like sport and why I don't really have much interest in that personally. But I can appreciate some feats of athleticism. So when I see some individual doing some amazing stuff on videos, I do appreciate that. But I don't have any competitivity in me. I never heard, and this is the thing, I don't need to compete. When people are projecting themselves into a player or a group of people, they are kind of competing against them. So there's that drive that gets them to enjoy sport. I don't have that drive. Vital element. I'm preparing to coach people to develop their mental fitness towards greater resilience. Do you have any advice for someone starting out in this work? Okay. So it depends which angle you look at it from. We're all very different. My angle is very different. I don't teach resilience. I remind people that they are already resilient. I don't believe that resilience is a skill that we must accumulate. I believe that we're all born with all the tools required to navigate through that life. And so what I'm trying to say is that people are not strong or brave or whatever. They've always been strong. They've always been brave. They don't need to become this. But it's only when we're facing a situation that situation reveals our true natural self. And so the analogy that I often use is that we can only know how fast we can run if there's a lion running behind us trying to eat us. We can only know how far we can swim when the boat has sunk, and so forth and so on. It's through adversity and situations that we are able to realize how strong, how brave we have always been, how resilient we have always been. We are born like that. This is who we are. And so what we want to do is to stop telling people, you must do this, you must learn how to do that, you can do this. We are able. The reason why we're all here is because we're all already resilient. And so to me, the way that I see it, resilience is not learning how to get back on your feet. It is how fast you get back on your feet. Because we all get back on our feet. For the vast, vast majority of us, no matter what happens to us, at some point, we resume our life and we forget that this was our natural resilience. And so my message is a message of empowerment. We are supported, for something to say. We are all supported. We all have that power inside of us already. So we don't need to seek anything outside of us. Right? We need to trust the universe and allow ourselves to do its job and to come out and to do the thing that we've got to do. If people are struggling, it's not because they don't have resilience. It's because they have emotional baggage. It's because they have unhealed wounds, trauma, undead kind of situations from the past. Now we're talking about therapy. We have some things holding us back, some blocks, and there are a lot of emotional triggers, and it's all connected to our belief system that we have developed in childhood. And so this is the way that I look at it from. We don't need to be better. We don't need to be stoic. We don't need to be any of those things. We need to let go of the hurt and the baggage. This is how I look at it from. I come from a very Eastern philosophical perspective. Instead of trying to have more, we can let go of what is holding us back. And to me, this is a much better way to address things, because we live in a world that is mainly structured on Western thinking. So I must have, I must do, I must be, I must become, I must collect, I must show, I must compare. Instead of just chill, let go. Allow for things to happen. Less is more. And so this is the way that I see it. But I understand that a lot of people do the things that you do, and there are different ways to look at, to come to the sort of system. So it's for you to find out what works for you. But for me, my way of thinking is very different than a lot of things around. And I believe that, you know, everything has a purpose. The right people will get the right person, and it's okay. We're all different. We all teach different things. But I believe that at some point, again, it's my belief, okay, but I believe that at some point we want to really realize that we don't need to be strong or brave or resilient. We need to accept that we are safe. And so we never needed to be resilient or strong or brave in the first place. That's the next level of healing and growth. The first level is I'm strong enough, I'm good enough. The next one is I'm safe, so I never needed to be strong anyway, because I belong to the universe. I'm supported by it. I'm a part of it. How can it hurt me if I realize that I am it? My whole reality, my whole life is a reflection of who I am. Everything that happens to me, every single person in my life, are there precisely to help me fulfill my destiny and experience my human adventure. Everyone is there for me, and it's the same for everyone. But it's a journey to get there, and many of us will not get there, and it's okay. And so, yes, what do you think about it, that whole element? For me, it's not about mental fitness. For me, it's about emotional baggage. John, I am still listening and learning. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. Tiger Morph, would you ban women yoga pants from public gyms? No, I wouldn't. I don't like the idea of banning things. I believe that everyone should be doing whatever they want to do. Now, of course, there's some public decency awareness in society, and so there's a place and a time to do some things. But I don't see why, if someone has designed women yoga pants, surely there shouldn't be any problem with that. Why is it a problem to you? Is it too revealing? Because if that's the case, the problem doesn't lie on the woman, it lies on you. And maybe you don't need to stare. You don't need to go like that. You just say, you know what? She's comfortable like that. It's okay. Now I'm going to do my thing. Focus on my exercise, on my dumbbells, whatever that I'm doing at the gym, right? I do wear sometimes some, I don't know, it's not yoga pants, but it's kind of a very tight leggings for sports people. And I like them. John, if you come to Boston, you have to visit the Isabella Stewart Carter Museum. If you have a Rembrandt, I am still in awe of. Okay, fantastic. I like Rembrandt. Good on you. Good on you. Okay. If I ever come to Boston, I will visit that museum. Melody, fear sucks. How do you overcome indecisiveness or stop procrastinating on important things? Okay. So everything is contextual, so it depends. Fear sucks because how can I approach this? How do you overcome indecisive? Okay, let's address just that segment because there's a lot of different things going on in that one sentence. If you're indecisive, I don't know how to say indecisive. If you are indecisive, it's because there's a part of you that believes that if you take the wrong decision, you'll be punished. You will suffer. You will suffer the consequence of it. Yeah. And so probably in childhood, you have been punished when you taken some certain decisions, and you believe now, ever since, that to every situation there are only two possible choices, outcomes, the good one or the bad one. And you are terrified with taking the bad one because in the past you get punished, you get blamed, you get ignored, you get hurt in any which way. And so you want to change your belief about this. People who are always struggling to make decisions are often showing a trauma symptom. Procrastination is a whole different conversation altogether. But just that, how do you overcome indecisiveness? By realizing that the reason why you find it so difficult to decide is because there's a part of you that believes that if I take the wrong choice, it's going to be very bad for me. So change this. Remind yourself, I'm doing things and I feel things based on the things that happened to me in the past. But now, let's say I'm going to choose my dinner. I'm in the supermarket, right? Am I going to have a pizza or am I going to have pasta? Whatever. Then just say, I don't know. Just tell yourself, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't matter. It's just a pizza or a pasta. And we tend to overthink things just out of habit. Again, because of those emotional attachment that we have, that we've been carrying from childhood and reinforcing all those years. So that's one of the way to look at it. There's a lot of different things to take into consideration. I'm just saying things based on what you've written. Fear sucks. I can talk about fear for hours on end. So if you want to ask me something specific about fear, we can go there. Now, next you say, how to stop procrastinating on important things. So I'm going to use your words. How to stop procrastinating on important things. Important is the key word. And so you're procrastinating precisely because it's important to you. And so if you see something that's important, you're creating some pressure. It's important. It's a big deal. If I fail, it's going to be very, very bad again. And so the more you see something as important, the more your mind is going to tell you, don't go there. You may fail. It's important. You may make a fool out of yourself again. And you're going to feel terrible about yourself again. So now it's like a bottleneck effect. There's too much pressure. Now you can't move forward. It's like a fuse. It's preventing you to have too much energy overwhelmed. So it's protecting you. The procrastination is there because you think that it's important. And so what you can do is to think, it doesn't matter. I don't care. It's not important. It's not a big deal. I trust the universe. I trust that I can do the best that I can in this moment. And whatever happens, happens. And if you can find a way to let go of the pressure that you are putting for yourself, you will not longer have any procrastination because the procrastination was always there to protect you from the failure because it's so important. I see some hearts. I believe that you are appreciating this or someone at least. So thank you. Is it you, Melody? So there you go. Christine, I could listen to you talk for hours. Thank you so much. Everything makes sense. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Christine. I'm happy with this. Sherry, I have a question. Do you do one-on-one therapy sessions? Yes, I do. I'm a therapist and coach, and I do this for a living, indeed. If you have interest, just go on any of my videos on YouTube. There are links to my different handles, including a link to my website. And so I offer free half an hour discovery calls on Zoom. And we just get to know each other and to find out if we can work together or not. And if we can, then we can organize the whole thing. I do everything on Zoom, everything online. And so I also work internationally, thanks to that. Thank you for the inquiry, by the way. Sherry. J at Melody, just let go. Okay. I'd say let go is a skill that we want to indeed develop. But saying just let go, it's a bit dismissive because it's not easy for people to just let go. But I understand you come from a good place, and I agree with you. We must learn the skill, the art of letting go, indeed. Ali. Hey, ciao. Hello. Mr. Trouble, how can you learn to trust better when you are damaged? So if you are damaged, the natural response of you being damaged by people will be not to trust them anymore. It's what your mind does to look after yourself. It's normal. It's totally normal. So what you want to do is to remind yourself, find a way to understand that whatever happened to you in childhood or in the past is in the past. And it doesn't mean that everyone else is like that. And it doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be unable to do anything about it again. So change the perception that you have. Whenever we're overwhelmed emotionally, in that moment, we are becoming our child again. We are the child. We are the inner child. The inner child is the emotional mind. So in that moment, because we are feeling something, we are coming from the place of feeling. The mind that uses feelings and emotions as a language. And so we're going to feel the way the child felt where it was left at. And so if you've been hurt in the past, then that may determine how you're going to feel with all of your relationships. You've been hurt, you believe that this is who I am, I attract bad people in my life, they take advantage of me, they don't love me, there's nothing I can do about it, that's all that I deserve. And you're going to keep allowing, attracting, inviting people like that in your life. So what you want to do is to work on your perception of yourself. You want to change the way that you see yourself. This is not me anymore. When I was a child, I used to feel like that, and you can give your child a hug and say, I get it, it's okay, and anyone in your shoes would have felt the same, but I'm here now. Now I'm the adult, I'm the grown-up, I'm in charge, I've got power, I've got resources, I've got wisdom, I've got knowledge, I've got imagination, I can do things that you couldn't. And so now you can change your perspective and operate from that place instead of that one whenever you're overwhelmed. So there's a lot of process behind it, and it's different for all of us. But those are the big lines of how you address those sort of situations. I hope it makes sense. Trouble. Jay, do you hit the gym? You look huge, man. I do hit the gym. I do enjoy my gym. I do train. And thank you for the compliment. I like the compliment. Yeah, it's a part of my lifestyle now for a while. Thank you. At least I can, because I do it for I do this for my health now, for mobility, for the enjoyment of it. I like being strong, but I don't see it anymore because this is what I've been for a long time now. But it's nice to see that some people can notice every now and then. It's nice for my ego. Thank you, Jay. Vital Element, indeed. Wu Wei has a big influence on my approach. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you, Vital Element. Yes. So yes, Wu Wei. Very good. Vital Element. But I am coming in through the door of trauma recovery. So there are different influences and approaches called for in this too. Okay. So yes, so that's what I was saying. It depends also on the stage where you are at. If you are healing, the first stage of healing is to find out the strength within you. Yes, you are strong, you are brave, you are resilient, you are capable, you can do this, you are no longer a child, you have got that power. But what I'm trying to say is that the next level, or the next level is to realize I never needed to be strong. I believe that because I was in a survival mode, because I didn't know any better, because I've been very unlucky ever since I was born. But now things have changed. And I'm realizing that I have always been supported, even in my darkest hours, even through the worst that happened to me. Now that I can look back with hindsight, I can understand that it was part of my story, my adventure. And now that I've grown out of it, from it, now that I've become a better human being out of it, I am reminded that I've always been strong and I don't even need to be strong. So that's when we totally are able to surrender and reconnect with everythingness. Thank you, Vital Element. Jay, fear is in the imagination. Yes, so basically, originally, fear exists as a tool to keep us alive. However, in our modern lives, we have fear in places where we don't need fear to be. We believe that every other things are to be very, very worried about, and that creates a state of survival in our body. And we don't realize that for the vast majority of us, we don't need to live in fear. We don't need to have fear-based belief. We don't need to nurture a state of anxiety or stress or reactivity. All of those things are born from a survival mode. Unless we are the exception. Again, if we live in extreme poverty, if we live in a country at war, if we live in an abusive family and we're a child and we can't get out of it, fear comes in to protect us in whichever way it can. But for the vast majority of us, we want to get rid of fear because fear creates all of the problems in our lives. Fear creates division, me versus the world, or us versus them. Fear creates, as a result of this, fights between all different people, discrimination, hatred. And also, if we have the fear of the God and whatever may happen, we also live in constant state of edge and anxiety, and this prevents us to reach our potential and to be happy and to connect with people. We want to replace the energy of fear with the energy of love, the energy of flow, the energy of creation. But yes, I agree with you. Fear, for the vast majority of us, is just imagination, indeed. John, I've got to go. I'm grateful for all you have taught me. Fantastic. Thank you, John. Do come back. I will come back next week. I'm not sure what time yet. Today, I started at 3 o'clock. I may do it again. I like 3 o'clock, even though it was quiet for a long, long time at the beginning. But I will always, in the morning, schedule my live so everyone can know what sort of time I'm going to go live. But every Saturday, I will always do a live on YouTube in the afternoon. So please, if you enjoy this, subscribe, follow me, and then come back. If you have any questions, write them down, or you can put them in the comment section, right? If you know any friends who could benefit from my help, get them involved. The more, the better, the merrier. Thank you, John. I wish you all the best, and see you next. Thank you for those things. Little heart. Tiger Morph. Yoga pants can be overly revealing, creating unnecessary distractions in a shared workout space. Men usually wear some shorts over their leggings, but women do it for attention. But I don't agree with that. I believe that unless there could be some people who are overly showing their bum, having some poses like that in front of the face. But I believe that they're really, really exceptional. And I believe that people should be free to wear whatever they want. And it's for the men to learn how not to stare. It's like when women have a cleavage, people say, oh, they're slutty, they're bad. Don't watch. Let them be. People should be what they are. And if you can't control yourself, it says something about you, right? Again, I don't want to be horrible, but it's true that we don't realize that we've been conditioned to believe certain things. And maybe this is how people from your community, from your family, think. But it's not nice. We want to realize that we should be all free. I'm a huge feminist myself. I'm very, very progressive, and I support all the underdogs or anyone that is oppressed by society. And so I believe that people should be able to express themselves and wear whatever they want, and it's down to us to learn how not to stare, right? Because this could go the other way around as well. Some people could say, so some men have some shorts and we can see too much. But the only reason we say that about women is because we live in a patriarchal society that conditions us to think like that and to behave like that. Again, it's not your fault. We don't choose our belief. We think and we feel the things that our parents, our family, our community do. So we just absorb that. But if we can realize that a lot of this is not necessary, we don't need to judge them. They're bad. They shouldn't be wearing that. How about they do what they want and I can learn how not to stare? If it's distracting, it's only because you are staring at them, right? And again, I belong to the LGBTQIA plus community. So this could be also said with men, right? If you go in a place where there's a lot of gays, or there's a lot of things that could be said, and it's always down to us to realize that we don't want to judge others, we don't want to control the world. We want to change the way we experience it from the inside out. That's how I see it, right? We can talk about this. I hope that you can see you can agree with some of the things that I say. Tiger Morph. I understand where you're coming from, but this is the wrong way to go at it. Society is changing. mentality is changing, and we really need to upgrade all of those old habits. And again, it's not your fault, but this is not kind to blame others and to tell them to do things when we could do something just as well. Mad Hatter, interesting perspective on hugging your inner child. I've just started my healing journey, okay? I have found peace with God. He has helped me a lot. Fantastic. Everyone has got a different system. For some of us, a spiritual awakening are therapeutic. And that's why so many people find so much goodness in joining a religion, whichever it may be. Religion can be good. Not always, very often not, but sometimes, yes, it depends. It's never about the religion. Religion is just a thing. It's about the mind that is using that religion. It's about the people who are using it. Jay, yep, men need more self-control. Thank you, Jay, thumbs up. Peter Make, I keep the door open to mending broken relationships, and this, of course, has me constantly reliving the negative parts. It's been years, I wish to move on, but it feels disloyal. All right, okay, let's discuss this. Let me read this again to make sure that I get this. I keep the door open to mending broken relationships, and this, of course, has me constantly reliving the negative parts. It's been years, I wish to move on, but it feels disloyal. Okay, so your answer is in your question. The reason why, so you know that you should be closing that door because there are old relationships. And as long as you keep on thinking about those things and allowing those things in your mind and allowing the possibility is still hurting you. But the reason why you don't move on from that is because it feels disloyal. And so you are suffering from a belief. You believe that you must be a good person, and for you to be a good person, you must be loyal. It's just a belief. You don't have to believe that. Now, so a lot of people who believe that are going to go, how dare you, you're a bad person. No, loyalty is an absolute illusion. No one deserves loyalty because it doesn't exist. Loyalty is a secret expectation that someone is never going to change. But we all change. Everyone changes. You change, I change, people change. The universe, everything in the universe changes. It's the very nature of the universe. And so what we want to realize is that people do change, and we must accept the change. We must accept that when it comes to relationships, both friends and family, it doesn't matter. No one deserves loyalty. We want to feel good with those people. And if it doesn't feel good anymore, it's time to go, to let go, right? Relationships are not meant to last forever. But if we believe that I must always be loyal to my family, that's why so many people suffer from narcissistic, dysfunctional, abusive families, because they believe that they must be loyal to them. But if they hurt you all of your life, what makes you think that they deserve your loyalty in the first place? And it's just that idea, I must be a good person. Change that belief. People change. People have a lot of different perspective, and what you think that person thinks of you may absolutely be untrue anyway. And so make it easy on you. Let go of attachment, right? If people are still with you, it's always a bonus, right? You can appreciate, you can celebrate, you can enjoy those things. It's great. But we can't expect for people to always be loyal to us any more than we can expect ourselves to have to be loyal to them. It's an illusion. It's a belief. It's not going to help you. A lot of beliefs that we have are actually unrealistic and harmful to us. Beliefs are subconscious and emotional, and so this is one of them. I must be loyal, otherwise I'm a bad person. But in the end, you're going to suffer from this. Choose to appreciate that people change. You live your life. You are here in this life to experience your happiness, your expansion, your potential, and they're doing the same. And so you share a moment of happiness with them. You have some memories, and then at some point it's time to part. Most relationships don't last forever. The vast majority of relationships, if you think about it, don't last. They're not meant to last. They are shared experience that are temporary. They always had a deadline to them at some point. It's very extremely rare when two people are getting so much along that they love each other forever and they die at the same time. There's always going to be a separation at some point. And so, yes, My advice to you is move on by accepting that you don't have to be loyal. You are a good person. You've done it for long enough. You don't have to do anything to prove yourself or the world that you are a good person. You want to be happy. You don't need to be a good person. As a child, we are being conditioned, programmed, and punished if we're not good. You have to be a good person. You have to be a good boy or a good girl. And now, because of that, we are obsessed with being a good person at the expense of our happiness. Because this already affected us in childhood. When we were a child, we had to be good, and that cost us our happiness. Instead of us being a child and expressing ourselves and being loud and noisy and chaotic, which is what children need to develop their brain. Now we're being told of, be good, don't embarrass me in public, sort of things. And now we are good, but we're not happy, we're repressing ourselves. We suffer from our own repression. And we keep doing this in adulthood, just like you're doing, by thinking, I have to be loyal to that person. Why? It's just costing you happiness. It's just an old habit from the past. Let go of this. You can move on from that. Does it help, Peter? I hope it does. If not, do ask me and I can try a different approach if you want. Jay, you are a good person. I strive to be more like you. This and that. Okay, thank you very much. I'm not a good person. I'm just a human being like everyone. And I do or say and I behave in ways that are positively impactful on some people. Right? But I appreciate your compliment. But I don't like it when people say some people are good and some people are not good, because we all evolve, we all change. If you know me at the first stage of my life, I was the opposite of that. People judge me for that. Again, because of my borderline personality disorder, because of my trauma and all those things, my behavior was erratic. And I was a terrible person. I've hurt so many people all my life for 38 years because that's all that I knew. And that's why I'm saying I'm not a good person. I am a human being that is going through my adventure, and we learn and we grow and we change at our own pace. We're all different. We all have our own journey. And if we can realize this of others, it's easier to have empathy for them and compassion. We don't judge people as good person or bad person. We all are a potential, and we can try to be kind and help them if we can, or at least not judge them and belittle them and make them feel worse if we can't. Just don't judge. Be kind if you can. But thank you for the compliment. Nevertheless, I do understand where you're coming from, and it's kind and it's appreciated. I just need to highlight this because it's part of the things that I talk about quite often. It's part of the things that I want to teach people more. Pamela Kemper, your videos have helped me so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pamela. Thank you. Vital Elements, thank you for this live and thanks to chat. I've enjoyed this. I must get going now. Best wishes. Thank you so much, Vital Element. Come back to us next time, next Saturday if you want, on YouTube again. I don't know what time yet, maybe from 4 o'clock. I will put a notice, a scheduled notice so people know. But thank you. Have a great day. Joel LeMay, brother, what happened to your eyebrows? People ask me that often. I think it's very important to start to normalize not highlighting physical differences because I have a condition. A lot of people have conditions. A lot of people look different. A lot of people have skin conditions. A lot of people have some accidents or are born differently. And it's not kind to highlight physical differences. Because when you do that, you are saying basically that you're reacting to something that you see. And that person is only superficial. All that matters is the look, is what we see. When we are all so much more than this. So when you know someone is different, eventually when you know someone, you can ask, you can find out, by the way, what happened to your eyebrows. But if the first interaction that you have with someone is to highlight a physical discrepancy, I find it very unkind. So I know that you don't do it on purpose. Everyone does it, right? This is what I used to do this myself a lot. But I'm trying to preach more kindness and compassion and realize that a lot of us, we don't want to be reminded of something that we see ourselves in the mirror. We don't choose those things, right? So now you may assume that I taken this on purpose for fashion. It's not the case. I've got some sort of autoimmune disease that gets me to be like that. This is me. And I'm happy with myself. I love myself. It's no problem. But I just want to raise the awareness that I think it would be a good idea to normalize, stop reacting and having to mention people's physical discrepancies at the first encounter. Right? That's it. I saw a video of one guy who does some quiz show on television, very tall guy. I think he's Richard Osman or something like that. And he talks about this. He's very tall. And people always tell him, oh, you're very tall. And he goes, why do always people have to say you're tall? I know, stop saying this. I'm so much more than that. But people just react because we are being taught to react like that. And we don't have. We can be more clever. We can be kinder as well. We can be more considerate, right? Maybe some of the things that people have, maybe my eyebrows could evoke a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, a lot of bullying, a lot of problems you don't know. You know? Like same with people who are overweight, people who are ginger, people who whatever that is a little bit different. I believe that I would like to promote this more. Normalizing, stop highlighting physical discrepancies. That's it. Now, if you get to know me, I can tell you I don't mind. Right? But I'm just trying to highlight that point. I hope that it makes sense. What do you think about it? What do you think about this? Joel LeMay. Tiger Morph. Biologic listening to loud music in public transportation is also fine because you can't just shut your ears. I don't support this. It's men's fault agenda. Sorry. It's not men's fault. It's everyone's. Everyone has a chance to be more empathetic. So you live in a. So you are showing me through your words that your perspective of the world is black or white, right or wrong, good or bad, this or that, man versus woman, correct versus incorrect. And it's not like that. The world is multidimensional, and we want to really understand the intricacies of it and realize that we can do something about it. It's not all. I used to be the same. I used to be very angry when I looked at people putting their feet on the chairs, on the seats in the bus and the tube in public transport. I used to be upset and create problems. Oh, what are you doing? Leave your seat. Don't put your dirty shoes. And that would create problems and make people unhappy. And then I realized I don't know what those people are going through. Maybe those people have so much problems. This is the list of their worries. Maybe they're thinking about unaliving themselves in the same evening. There's so much things. So I'm asking myself now, does it really bother me? Do I have to be bothered by it? Can I be kind to them? And now it's easy for me not to react to any of those things anymore. Because it's not longer about me, what is right, what is wrong. It's about me understanding and showing some empathy and compassion and realizing that we're all doing our best. And a lot of time, what we assume is common sense or what should be right is not necessarily anyone else's priorities either. And so we all have different perspective in life. So I understand that it's not easy to be kind. Not everyone can be kind. I have learned how to be kind. I was very unkind for 58 years of my life, so I totally get it. But we're all at a different level of awareness and stage in our journey. So we all have a different reality. I'm not here to judge yours. I'm just sharing how I feel about it. I'm not here to tell you what you should be doing. Right? Let's rephrase this like that. I believe that the world would be a better place if we could be kinder to one another and allow people to be themselves and learn how to add something into the mix as opposed to expecting for the world to conform to how we want it to be. That's just me, right? So yes, do what you wish with that. I hope that you can take something positive out of this. Tiger Morph. Mad hater. I have no religion. I just follow Jesus. Okay, good, fantastic. No problem. No, but even if you followed Islam or Christianism or Buddhism or if you believed in the big spaghetti god in the rainbow, whatever, it doesn't matter. I believe in everything. I believe that everyone has got a different way to connect with something bigger than them, and it's okay. As long as they're not trying to convince everyone else that their truth is better than other people's truth. So good on you. If you like Jesus, why not? Scrape till. Just all stop being mean towards each other. Yeah, I agree with that. It's a process. Again, we don't choose to be unkind. We're unkind because this is what we've learned from our upbringing and environment. That's it. I really think a lot about this. And I can see that whichever way we treat others, we speak to others, and even the way we speak to ourselves is always a result of our upbringing. And we don't have to be unkind. We just do this out of habit. We think that it's normal. It's like pranks. I did a post a little while ago on TikTok that has got a lot of views because a lot of people disagree with that. And it is basically, it goes like this. Let me find it. I'm highlighting how pranks are a sign of low emotional intelligence. I can't find it, but I can try to remember this. Pranks are a sign of low emotional intelligence, as in, it's a very primal way of laughing. It's like when someone falls. If we laugh at someone who is falling, it's because subconsciously we're feeling nervous. We don't want to be the one falling, and so we are laughing to get rid of the stress from our body. But it's unkind. And a lot of people do pranks, and they believe that it's clever, it's fun, because they're used to that. It's not their fault, right? But they don't realize that people who are being pranked, the vast majority of them, hate this. And so it's just a habit. I was talking about how unkindness is a habit. But we're so attached to our understanding of the world, but for some people, if you tell them pranks are not emotionally intelligent, they're going to fight back. How dare you say that? We all prank each other in our family. So basically, if you say that pranks are not good, you are dissing me, you're dissing my family, you're dissing my tribe, my community. Instead of understanding, you know what, it's an old habit from the past, we can evolve away from that. There are many ways to enjoy ourselves and have fun without it having to be at the expense of someone's peace and happiness. But anyway, but yes, I agree with you, Scrape. We should all learn how to be kinder toward each other. Sheba, new here, liking the positive vibes radiate. Thank you so much, Sheba. Pamela, how can someone find joy or purpose if they feel incredibly lost and unable to find meaning through all the suffering? So if it's really, really bad, therapy. What people don't realize is that we all have some blocks, some traumas, and sometimes seeking professional help is the shortcut to it. Now, it's not just the only way, because we're all different, and but that's something that we need to consider. Having said that, there are a lot of other things that we can do. We can learn about spirituality, we can learn about mindfulness and meditation, we can learn about reframing our perspective of life. We can do all sorts of things. We can address our lifestyle, our environment. There's so many things that we can do, but it's for you to find out what it is. So basically, how do we do that? It starts with the awareness that you are in charge of your journey. That everything is possible, everything is out there, and it's for you to go on your self-discovery journey and find out, who am I? What should I learn? What should I do? What should I let go of? And as you do this more and more, you will reveal the potential within you that was always there. If you don't find joy or purpose from the perspective of the therapist that I am, I will address the depression, I will address the disconnection, I will address the anxiety, I will address the overthinking, I will address whatever is holding you back. We live in again, Western thinking society that is thinking, if I have a problem, I need to have something else to fix that thing, right? If I have a pain, I need to find the pill, the remedy, the cure that is going to fix me from that thing. But if you come from an Eastern perspective, you're thinking, I need to let go of something. To heal from something, we don't want to find more things to add onto what we have already. We want to let go of whatever is holding us back. So how can someone find joy and purpose if they feel lost and unable to find meaning through all the sufferings? See, every word that you use, the sort of suffering is very heavy, is very, very raw. So I would suggest you to do some work. It doesn't have to be therapy, but if you can explore the world of different somatic therapies to do with emotions, with your subconscious mind, not talking therapies, that can really be helpful, right? And it's a journey, so it's going to take time. Nothing works for everyone, but there's something for everyone at any stage of their journey. So it's for you to find out what it is. Having said that, if you want to be more specific, we can discuss those things. Matt Hatter, find God. Okay, good on you. Parody, hi Didi. Hello Parody, how are you doing? I'm glad you're here. Matt Hatter, Pamela, Jesus loves you. I recommend to look for God. Okay, Manhattan. So this is a good recommendation. However, this is the one thing that works for you. Everyone is different. Because something worked for you doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone. Because something didn't work for you doesn't mean that it's not going to work for everyone either, right? We're just aware of our own experiences. So I am delighted for you that you have found peace and love within God. But it's very important not to try to forget that we're all different. Because if we are very excited about something, we're going to really push that, and then we're going to come across not the way we want to come across. We're going to come across like someone who is trying to preach something, sell something, push some sort of agenda, and this is not going to be helpful, I think. Just mentioning it is good, but I think it's important to know where to restrain ourselves, right? I hope it makes sense. Ronan, you sound like a smart man. Okay, thank you very much. Parody, I have next to no eyebrows. I don't care anymore. Okay. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm with you. My husband just bought me a kit to some sort of makeup, some brow, mascara, whatever, for the eyebrows I can try. I think it's going to be fun because I like fashion. I like to play with looks as well. I mean, I used to do it a lot when I was much younger, not so much anymore. But yes. Yes, sorry, my man was distracted because for one moment I had a notification. Yes, what I was saying, I was talking about eyebrows, so I might play around with this, but it doesn't really affect me, to be honest with you. Parody, Mad Hatter, telling someone to find God is unnecessarily helpful. So that was my point. Thank you, Parody. But also, again, Mad Hatter, we are very happy that you found happiness and peace, right? It's not about this. And I believe in God. I believe in the universe. I believe in all sorts of things as well. But it's true that there's a difference between what you believe in and trying to shove something down someone's face and throat. And I know, we know that you come from a good place. We just want to remind you of this. That's it. King Bob, hi. Miguel Angel, crazy. Ronan, perception shapes reality. Yes, absolutely. There's no such thing as one fixed universal reality. There's only our experience of it in this moment based on our perception of it. Indeed. Frank Aguilar, so have you achieved emotional IQ to the highest degree? It's not a competition, it's not a highest degree. It's a journey. It's understanding how we feel. It's understanding our body. It's understanding our humanity. Right? It's not like a competition of numbers. Oh, how much EQ have you got? Not at all. It's about reconnecting with who we are. We are first and foremost creatures of emotions, feelings, and sensations. We are creatures of emotions that think. We're not thinking creatures that feel. It goes in the order of emotions first. 95% of our mind is emotional and subconscious. And only 5% is intellectual and cognitive. And that's why emotional intelligence is so important. But it's not about rating some scores. It's about understanding more about ourselves so that we can remind ourselves of who we are. And as we do that, we are reminding ourselves of who other people are. And we can reconnect with the whole world. This is why emotional intelligence is so important, because it's not being taught. And it's the one thing that could fix this whole world, individually and collectively. Hope it makes sense, Frank. Ronan, I'm kinder these years. Okay, good on you, Ronan. Mad Hatter, Parody, I'm not here to help. I'm just here to add a perspective. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. We appreciate you, Mad Hatter. It's no problem. We are just having discussion, right? So you express yourself, Parody express herself, I express myself, and we're all good. Okay? Ronan, I had a rough upbringing. Okay? Do you want to share us? Is it still affecting you or not? Declutter with Azar. Hey, good evening. Happy Ramadan. Happy Ramadan to you, indeed. I'm here to just ask, how are you, sir? I'm very well indeed. Thank you so much for asking. How about you? Ronan is the lizard brain. Okay. Ronan, you have to build meaning in your life. Beautiful advice. Thank you, Ronan. Peter Meg, thank you, Didican. You have given me something to think on. It helps. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Peter. Yes. This is why I do these things. Thank you. Parody, Mad Hatter, that's fair, I understand. Okay, thank you, Parody. Big D Bob, are you Korean? No, I'm not. Haida Youssef, I have health anxiety. What can I do? I always think about illness. Okay. So the more you think about something, the more you will keep thinking about it. So what you want to do is to do you have any illnesses at this point in time in your body? Do you have some real things happening that you're aware of? Or it's just all in your imagination? No, it's a no, okay. So remind yourself of this. I'm just imagining things. Know that the reason why you have those thoughts about bad things that could happen in your health is because there's a part of your mind that has created that to protect you. So maybe you've been traumatized, you've seen something, you feel something, you believe that it's going to happen to you, and your mind can't let go of this. So it's going to remind you, oh, you need to check this, double check this. Oh, your breathing is weird. You feel something in your back of your head. It's weird. Check it out, because it wants to protect you. So your mind comes from a good place. However, it's gone out of control, and now it's all over the place. And so what you want to do, one thing that you can do is to learn how to practice mindfulness and meditation to slow down your mind. But before you do that, even choose to do things and to think things that will make your body better. So instead of thinking, oh, what if it happens? Go to the gym, go for a walk, learn about healthy nutrition, what sort of things. Engage actively in some empowering thoughts that are connected to your health. Instead of feeling disempowered, what can I do? What can I learn? How can I grow my mind to be better, to be healthier? And that will help you learn more about those things and having a better lifestyle. And as you do this, you realize, oh, I'm in control. I can do things to control my health. We may never control everything, but at least you know that if you sleep well, if you eat well, if you exercise, if you socialize, if you go out in nature, if you do all of those things, your physical health will be much, much better. Right? If you read anything about health, the things that I've mentioned, especially the three big ones, sleep, eat, move. If you do those three things, if you elevate those three things, you can really, really change so many aspects of your health. So change the state of disempowerment with a state of empowerment. I'm in charge, I'm doing this, I'm choosing to do this, and it's getting better. Change your mindset. And also in the meantime, learn how to practice mindfulness and meditation, those sort of things. But also, it's not just that. The reason why you have anxiety is because you have a trigger that is triggered by something. And so the trigger is the stress. The number one thing, before even everything that I said, is to find a way to limit your exposure to stress. Whatever is stressing you out, whatever is getting you to feel anxious, is getting that system even more inflamed in your mind. And so you're going to think about it all the time. And so find a way to minimize your exposure to stress in your life. And if you suffer from anxiety, now we're back to square one. The advice that I give everyone, consider seeking professional help. If it's really, really bad, maybe you need to address some aspect, some expression of anxiety. Yeah. Because if you suffer from anxiety in any which way, the health anxiety is a byproduct of the original anxiety. There's something else that is getting you to think things and to interpret things from kind of a paranoid perspective. And so, yes, are you addressing your health anxiety or your anxiety at all? Haydar? Are you addressing your stress? Are you doing anything about? Do you believe that you are neurodivergent? Do you believe that you may have you got intrusive thoughts as well? Big Debo. My dad was in the Korean War back in the late 50s. He named me Ken. All right, like me? Okay. I'm not sure what to say about this. I hope that you're not trolling me, right? Please be kind. This is a place that I use to help people who have problems. If you have problems, we can talk about this as well. Declutter with Azar. Also good. Haidar, Youssef, no, okay. Serving my Redeemer. Overcoming obstacles and constant emotional impediments that seem to trip us up in a forward progress and perseverance towards positive outcomes. So a lot of words. I'm not sure the intent behind this, but okay, it sounds okay to me. Haidar, I am a medical student, so I'm always dealing with illness. Okay. But still, I understand that you're always dealing with illness, and that would make sense. But you want to address your stress and your anxiety first and foremost. And then you want to find out the belief behind it. Why do you own that belief? What happened to you for you to not being able to stop thinking about it? If you're a medical student, you should appreciate mental health and professional help in that regards, right? I hope so. Ronan, new hobbies and interests will take your mind off things. Sleep, eat, move. Yes, I agree. Serving my Redeemer. Wow, that's great. Wow, words of wonderful wisdom. Thanks again. Okay, thank you. Serving my Redeemer. Something that I said made sense to you. Thank you. Gaffo, honestly, I had anxiety for years, was on all sorts of meds, never helped. Then I accepted Jesus into my heart, and poof, anxiety went from 10 to 2. Okay, so this is it. For some people, a spiritual awakening can be absolutely life-changing. For some people, not to everyone. So if it worked for you, fantastic, congratulations, well done. I'm genuinely very happy for you and for anyone who's been through that. And I do recommend different spiritual awakening journey for those who are like that. And it doesn't have to be this or that. It can be Christianism, it can be Islam, it can be Buddhism, it can be Judaism, it can be Hinduism, it can be anything at all. It can be just being spiritual. It doesn't matter. It's about finding what works for us. So if it worked for you, it's fantastic. Right? But remember, we're all different, and we don't want to believe that whatever worked for us will work for everyone. Deep Sea. Your recent video on ADHD/anxiety/overthinking resonated deeply. All right, thank you. Thanks. The only thing preventing me from living my best life is discipline and more courage. Less thinking, more actions. Okay? The truth of the matter is that if you find it difficult to take actions or to let go of thinking, it's because of an emotional block. And so the problem is not the inability to do something. The problem is the emotion that is preventing you to do that thing. The problem is not the inability to let go of a thought. The problem is the emotion that is holding that thought inside of you. So you want to address the emotions. You want to address how you feel. We tend to judge ourselves and think, I'm weak, I should be doing this, and we're feeling shameful and guilty and blaming ourselves. But it's not like that. We always can do only but whatever our emotional state allows us to do. And our emotional states is down to the system that we have put into place in our childhood, and we've never chosen the childhood that we had and the trauma that came along with them, with it. And so, I'm glad, thank you for the compliments, and I'm glad that you are on a journey of healing and self-discovery, but realize that you don't need more discipline or more courage. You need to let go of the emotional blocks. Because as long as you think, I need to be disciplined, I need to be brave, you think that you're not enough. You think that you're missing something. You think that you're wrong. You're feeling shameful. And it's not like that. You're making the problem worse. You want to realize that you are like that because you've been through all sorts of different things, and this is how your brain developed and how you have become who you are. That's it. No one chooses that. And so find out what are your emotional blocks and work on those in that order. That'll be my recommendation to you. But other than that, good on you. And also when you say ADHD, that makes it even more challenging for you to have discipline. Discipline is the arch nemesis of ADHD. And you don't want to create discipline if you have ADHD. What you want to do is to create a lifestyle that is a lifestyle that you choose because you like it, because it excites you, because it makes you happy. And so when you find something that you are naturally inspired to do, you don't need discipline, you don't need motivation, you just do it because the joy is the drive. Hope it makes sense. What do you think of this, Dipsy? Ronan, martial arts can also help improve yourself. It can to some people, right? It's not like everything. For some people, learning to do a sport or musical instrument or anything at all can help them. Martial arts is not magic, but for those, it's good for one sort of people. If you've been bullied in childhood, then it's good, because it's going to bring you back some element of confidence, as in, I know how to do some things if it was to happen ever again. So in that context, I agree. And I myself, I've done all sorts of martial arts all my life because I've been bullied, and it was very helpful to me. But it's very specific. Again, it's not for everyone. But if you've been bullied, it's not a bad thing to do, indeed. Haydar, you helped me so much. Thanks. Okay, thank you so much, Haydar. Ronan, my therapist recommended I take magic mushrooms again. Are you serious? Are you trying with me? I think your tone tells me that you're actually serious. I mean, up to this point. If your therapist recommends you take magic mushrooms, I think it's a bad joke. I don't think any therapist could ever say that if they wish their clients to get better. I would say bad idea, personally. Gaffo, thanks. I think it's often a spiritual problem. It's not often, it's sometimes. Again, it depends. This is what happened to you, so you understand this from that perspective. But for some people, it's not spiritual at all. It's psychological, right? So this is two things that I look at when I deal with people. We can address the psychology and or the spirituality. So very often, just psychology, because not everyone is spiritual. But when people have an element of spirituality, I totally embrace it into the healing process. If you can, I believe that we all evolve and expand through our journey in this life. And some of us, we will be lucky enough to be able to access spiritual stuff. Not everyone will. We're all here at a different level of awareness, and it's okay. All stories and journeys are valid. As humans, we're all the same. We're here to experience something. All experiences are valid. However, I believe that for those of us who, so it depends on what you believe. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in the multiverse and quantum physics. And so what I believe is that if we came back many times, now we have more awareness, more experience as a being, and we are more able to reach the next level. And if we can tap into the spiritual, then for me is the ultimate thing. But not everyone will be in that position. No matter how hard we try to get them, it's something that comes from the inside out or not. Serving my Redeemer. Message retracted. Okay. Peter Make, thanks again. You're awesome. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much, Peter. Have a great weekend yourself. Gaffo, why do you think drugs like sertraline, Valium, and Xanax didn't help me? But when I really cried out to God, the anxiety stopped. What's going on, do you think? Drugs in general don't work. Sometimes they help people feel a bit better about themselves for a short period of time. Sometimes it don't at all. Sometimes it makes things worse. So we're all different. Drugs is a very, very contentious subject. I am not a fan of them. I believe that there's a place and a time for everything, and so some people can really benefit from them momentarily. But the drugs never fix the problem, right? And so you have experienced a relief through God, and you have connected that with your success. But this is your experience. And again, we are happy for you. But everyone has a different experience. And so it depends. It takes a lot of things. When it comes to religion, very often people who heal things like depression or anxiety is because they find a tribe with whom they can belong to. They find a purpose and a meaning to their life. So everything makes sense. So now there's no longer any fear. They have a program, a system that explains what the world is and their place in the world. And that brings them peace and safety, right? And allows for happiness. Because before that, they lived in fear or depression. And so in that way, religion can be very, very, or spirituality can be very, very powerful for some people. But when it comes to drugs, generally speaking, I'm not a fan of them. Really not. Dipsy, I've never thought about it this way before. You're right, I'm continuously trying to reach more disciplines, more bravery, less overthinking, etc. Okay, thank you. So let go instead of accumulating more. Right. Thank you. Yes? Careful, but it doesn't matter how good your chemical react. If your spirit is being repressed, then you will feel terrible. But why, if it's just a chemical imbalance, then why don't drug help? It's not just a chemical imbalance, not at all. This comes from a place of trying to over-rationalize things, and it was never true. We are many things, and we are all of those things at the same time. But what we are depends on the position of the observer. And so if you look at us from the body's perspective, we see chemical imbalance. If you look at us from the mind's perspective, we are psychological imbalance. If you look at ourselves from a spiritual perspective, we are a spiritual imbalance, a misalignment. So we are all of those things, but it's the angle from which we are choosing to look at ourselves from that will determine that we're either this or that. But the truth of the matter is that we're never this or that or that or that, you know. We are this and that and that and that. And the more we can understand the bigger picture of ourselves, the more we can understand what works for us. What is my biggest problem that I have to deal with? Yeah. Hope it makes sense. I'm realizing that it's nearly 5:30. I think it's time for me to slowly go. There are 3 more questions. I can answer 3 more, maybe 5 minutes. Deep Sea, could you please provide some advice on finding and removing emotional blocks like you mentioned earlier? So it depends on the blocks. We're all different. Therapy, we're all vastly intricate and different. And so it's really important to, it's like doing a detective work, finding out for you what is your blocks, when it happened, why it happened, with whom it happened, why does it exist in your body, what is it trying to protect you from, how is it manifesting, what are the triggers, what are the cues that are triggering those things in your body. It's a lot of things, and so it's all very, very different for each individual. So there are different routes. You can learn how to explore understanding the mind. You can read books, do some courses, watch videos and stuff, you know, expand your understanding of the mind. You can do this on your own. It's going to take you a long time, but it's a good journey, it's a good path, it's interesting. But if you want a shortcut, my advice to you would be to seek some people who have some tools that can access your subconscious mind, and we do this with you and for you. So what I do, for instance, I do something called RTT, and it's a type of hypnotherapy. And we go back into your subconscious mind, we go straight to the source of the blocks, and we remove them, we change the energy of them there. So that's the shortcut. But if you don't have access to that sort of modalities, you can learn about mindfulness, you can learn about more spiritual, different perspectives. There's so many things you can do. But it's for you to find out what is the best thing for you at this point in time. However, if you ask me the shortcut, I'd say something like what I do. RTT is very powerful to locate, go straight to the block and unblock it. Gaffo, so we can't over-rationalize, and it's not just a material chemical imbalance, then it would have to be a spiritual problem or not. It's all of them. It's not this or that. It's this and that and that and that. The problem about the world is that we've been conditioned to think in black and white. This or that, right or wrong, true or false, good or bad. And it's not like that, where everything is multidimensional and everything is always can be seen from a different perspective. So yeah, those are the premises of dialectical thinking, if you're wondering. Is the idea that more than one opposite truth can coexist together. Annie, my biggest thing to deal with is my mind. Do you have a book or anything to help me? I need that. So it's a big subject. I need to have more details. No. It's like saying, I have a problem. Can you help me? Okay. Tell me more. If you say my biggest problem is my mind, it can be anything at all. It doesn't give me much, does it? If you can give me more details, then we can start to be more precise, right? Gaffo. But the one thing that I could recommend you, if you say that the problem is your mind, is to practice mindfulness. There you go. So there's one book that you can get called Mindfulness from Dan Penman. It's a green cover, and it comes with a lot of recorded audio meditations, and that teaches you about your mind and how to have a different understanding of it. And also it offers you a course of 8 weeks of meditation at the end of the book that can absolutely rewire the neural pathways in your brain through the practice of meditation. So here's my recommendation to you. Mindfulness by Dan Penman. Gafo, love your videos. Thanks for your help. God bless you, Didikan. Thank you so much, Gafo. Yeah. Annie, allow others' opinions affect what I do. Okay. You know what? I think it's time for me to go because I've been here for like more than 2 hours. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go slowly. I'm going to read the last questions. But if you really want to find out, come back next week. I come on YouTube every Saturday afternoon, live. So today I started at 3. I may start at the same time or a bit later. I don't know yet. But I will make sure that in the morning I put a scheduled live so people know when I'm going to go live. And we can, if you can come at the start of my live, I can give you a whole hour talking about this and give you all the solutions, okay? But I think now it's time for me to resume the other things that I've got to do with my day. And hopefully you will come back. I also do this on TikTok twice a week in the evening. But if you use YouTube, for sure, every Saturday afternoon. And I'm more than happy to tell you and explain how it works and why and what we can do about it, okay? Gaffo, oh, I get it. I like black and white. It's easier, haha. Yes, that's why there was it is state, because it's easier. It's easier to have understanding is right or wrong. But if we can expand our mind and realize that there's so much more than this, now we can have empathy for people instead of judging them because they're bad. We can understand them. Annie, I have fear. Fear blocks me from living my life. I'm afraid of everything and everyone. I was abused as a child and adult. I'm so sorry to hear this. And I can absolutely deal with that. But it's just that now I'm reminded that I've got some stuff to do. I'm so sorry. Annie, I don't trust myself. Yes, I'll be back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Deep Sea, you're doing God's work. Thank you so much. Thank you. Gaffo, Annie, worry about truth, not opinions. So I wouldn't take that advice. Gaffo, again, this is you talking from your perspective. There's no such thing as truth. There's only your truth. Annie has her truth. I have my truth. We all have different experience of truth. There's no such thing as one universal, fixed, absolute truth for everyone. Again, I'm talking about psychology here. It's only our perspective of this in this moment. But if you tell her about the truth, it's going to add some confusion in her mind if she doesn't have the same sort of belief as you have. I know it comes from a kind place, but it may not be helpful to her. But thanks anyway. Annie, thank you, Gaffo. Indeed. Serving my Redeemer. Thanks again, Didikan 24/7. Thank you. Oh, homed, right? Annie, you are great. Thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you. Homed, stop putting your who's on his perfect day. I don't know what it means, Gaffo, but is that a truth statement that there is no truth? It is my truth. It's not a truth statement because there's no truth statement. It's only my truth. And whatever you say will only ever be your truth. And it's the same for everyone. That's what I'm trying to say. Again, not black or white. Right? So it's true, there's no truth. There's your truth. There's not a truth. Okay, on those beautiful words, I'm gonna go. Guys, I love you all. Thank you so much. Look after yourself. I wish you a great day or a great evening, wherever you are in the world. If you want to watch this on replay, I leave all of my live on YouTube. And so as soon as it's uploaded, you'll be able to watch the whole conversation again. Come back to me, ask me more. You can ask me questions in the comment section. You can request me doing some videos about some topics, maybe, if you want me to do that. I haven't had a chance yet, but again, I've planned, but I've been so busy. But I have planned to do some new long-form content on YouTube. So hopefully I will do this sometime from the next couple of weeks, if things go well. And so that we add to the short videos that I put every day already, and to the lives that I'm doing weekly on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok mostly. I also exist on other platforms. And there's a link to my website if you need some information about me as a therapist and coach. Okay, Annie, I understand. Christian Hart, serving my Redeemer. Make it a great day. Thank you. Gaffo, cool. Love you, brother. Love you. Thank you so much. Annie, I'll be watching until you're back again. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. All the best. And remember, be kind to yourself. Okay, are you sure you want to stop? Yes. Bye-bye, guys.